the most rewarding championship that I've ever been involved in.
Momentum's up.
This championship is one of the hardest in the world.
I think I've done it. Oh wait, I have to do. God, but now my suit's all wonky. Is this weird over here?
No, it's...
Oh. So, what are we chatting about here, boys?
Yeah. And clap it down. Yeah, okay.
Oh, I'm doing it. Okay. I feel so fancy doing it.
You didn't put anything funky on there, did you? You didn't screw me over and I just signed it off.
I got into the BTCC when I was still in nappies.
I started go-karting in Ireland when I was like 13 or so.
Started karting at the age of 5. Obviously it starts off as a hobby, a bit of a Sunday thing with father and son. Slowly progressed into taking it a bit more serious. That natural progression from karting into cars happened. The rest is history from there.
I did my first ever race at Brands Hatch GP. I'd only just got my international C racing licence for the BTCC, and I was on the podium first round, stood next to Matt Neal, who when I was 17 felt like the real life BFG. You know, he was huge, and that was how I got into the championship.
My elder brother, he was already racing. He ended up doing 2 years in touring cars. And I think that kind of whole sibling rivalry of always wanting to be the best kind of shone through. I think everyone played that PlayStation game at some point in their youth. So it was like, oh, I kind of want to do that.
So 2020, for lots of reasons, was hard for everybody. We had COVID, so we had no fans. It felt soulless.
I think everyone's sick of being at home. Like it started like a holiday, and then it kind of went to just like prison.
This year, I think I'm in with a good chance because I have a car which is on the same level playing field as everybody else. I'm with Sicily Motorsport, which is a very professional team.
We're an independent team. We haven't got the resources to some extent like the manufacturer teams have. So to be the underdogs and to claim three of those titles, it was a great feeling to sort of bring them that main championship.
Because I didn't want to come back and be P nowhere, because it's just going to be really boring. Because I felt like this car has a real chance.
Sometimes you just have to give yourself a little talk to in the mirror and reevaluate yourself, and that's all I've been doing, looking back at previous races. So hopefully I can turn up and improve on my weaknesses as of last year.
You know, it's not going to be easy at all. It's going to be very hard work. That's why I sign up for the BTCC every year, because it's hard work, it's exciting, it's fun, it's fast, and it's full of adrenaline. So, ready to go, mate. So I'm really excited to be here for the start of the 2021 British Touring Car Championship at Thruxton. It is a fantastic circuit. It's the fastest circuit we race at all year. As a team, this is going to be a massive learning year. You know, I'm not sitting here saying we're going to win everything. It's our first year, I completely understand that. We're going to have to gain a lot of data this year. I think I need to be a bit more honest about it, because it is f***ing hard. You know, it is completely different. You know, as much as I've won races in rear-wheel drive cars, and Adam Morgan's, you know, Ginetta champion in rear-wheel drive, and we can both drive rear-wheel drive cars, learning it all over again at this level when the whole grid's within half a second, it's quite tricky. We're starting the first race meeting at Thruxton, high speed, and looking like it's going to be wet too. So I think, yeah, I'm most anxious I've ever been going into the British Touring Cars this year.
I think I chose 2021 to come back into the championship because I felt like the Cooper has a chance to challenge at the front. Being like totally honest, I think the last year I did in 2017 was a bit taxing. I'd be lying if I said there wasn't some nerves around it, because you spend the whole winter building to this point. The minimum of what I would see as a success, like everyone's going to say to win this, to be on the podium for that, but like there's 30 other drivers that want to win. So for me, probably the minimum like is to be back on the grid for 2022. Like I've left here thinking, oh, there's greener pastures and I'll enjoy this and I'll enjoy that. But you don't. Like the touring cars is the creme de la creme, and that's kind of where my minimum would be to stay here. I don't want to go away again. Like I don't want to look in from the outside thinking, geez, I wish I was doing that, because I've tried that and it's not that enjoyable.
Fastest track on the calendar, no ballast. I think it's really going to throw a mix out there. It's very intense. There's high calibre of drivers, massive mix-up in terms of driver to car. So there's a lot of unknown quantities, and I think that's going to be the bit that is going to catch people out. I think we built a very, very strong race car. Is it ultimately the quickest car? Potentially not, but points are made on Sunday, not on Saturday. Why I'm still here and still doing it? I'm hungry for more and more championships. My name wants to be in that history book. I want to sit there in 15, 20 years time and for drivers to know or set out goals to go and beat what I've marked in the book. To sit here and say we're 5 British Championships in is what I want to do.
We're currently here on race day on Sunday, reflecting after qualifying yesterday. It didn't all go to plan.
Qualifying, I think if I was to script a session where things could have gone wrong, everything did go wrong. From those changing conditions to getting blocked to a little issue on the car.
First round being Thruxton, being damp on a drying circuit with a hard tyre and rear-wheel drive, ticks every box for it being the hardest possible qualifying ever and having 0 free practice 1 running. So, you know, 20th is probably where we should have been.
So I ended up qualifying 19th, which, you know, it's not a position that I'm writing home about to say how happy I am, but considering all the things that were thrown at us, it's probably pretty fair.
So it was definitely the lowest I've ever qualified in all the years I've been racing.
Today is a new day, and I think that's what's nice about touring cars are you wake up on a Sunday morning and you forget about Saturday. When you go out into the races, everyone has a fair chance. We'll forget all about the troubles of what yesterday was.
So I definitely can only see one way in race day, and that is moving forward. So I'm very excited about the race in half an hour.
Welcome to Thruxton, and we really have been impatient for this day to arrive. The crowds might not be here, but the action certainly is. An outstanding lineup of drivers is all set for the quality racing and intense competition that makes up the 2021 Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship.
I noticed Ash Sutton going really hard on that outlap through the complex. He's trying to build as much temperature into those hard Goodyear tyres that everybody's on for this race, because he wants to get off and try and get up the road as soon as possible.
So there is the double champion, the reigning champion, Ash Sutton, the Laser Tools Racing Infiniti Q50, and his good mate Josh Cook lining up with him at the front of the grid. Round 1 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship about to get underway. Light to go out, good start by the rear-wheel drive Infiniti, and also, as you'd expect, the BMW of Colin Turkington, who jumps ahead of Josh Cook on the way up towards Allard for the first time, and it is Sutton then who leads the way. Up into 4th place is Tom Ingram, and he's looking for a way to try to gain ground as they make the run towards the complex for the first time. It's side by side for second as Cook tries to go around the outside into Campbell. There's a bit of a rub, and Sutton spins on cold tyres. Around goes the leader, around goes the champion, and that puts...
The opening race of the season, it was prime position, set in pole position, but unfortunately it didn't last very long. Got to turn 3 technically, got a pump from behind, so it turned us round, put us back to stone cold last.
He had a touch from Turkington.
When you get taken out and you know you've got the pace in the car, you kind of just have to quickly push it aside, reset your mentality for that race, and suddenly go on the attack mode, and we did exactly that. To come back from 28th to sort of 9th, it's a bit of a stellar drive. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one.
So we're finally here at race 2 at Thruxton, and everything was going very smooth up into that first corner, and then of course...
And then it was a red flag, and I really hope that everybody is okay after that crash.
And it just definitely brings me back to 2017 when Aaron had his shunt because I just saw the black and white car go upside down, and it just makes your heart honestly do somersaults. So I turn around and I see the black and white car on its roof, and I was just like, that's definitely Aaron. I started running, and then I see the auto bright on the side of the door, and then of course was Nick Lynn, and it breaks your heart. He has no family here.
But it was a very big shunt, and yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm happy everyone's okay, but it was a very big crash. Looking at that seat upside down at turn 1 looked pretty horrendous.
Just back out of it and see what happens in front of me, and then off.
It's not wiped out.
Mate, he came in with some pace.
Try you about.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Well, it wasn't too bad in the car. I think he lost it himself, eh?
May have just lost it.
Okay, you go.
Jake Hill was very...
Everything's in perspective, and I know sometimes results might not come our way, but I guess all that matters is their safety. The car's in bits. I'm not sure what's going to happen back at the garage, but I wouldn't say race 3 is a runner, that's for sure.
Round 3 of the championship is set to go at Thruxton. As the lights out, they slither away from the line. Good start by Jelly, and now you'll see those on wet start to pounce forward. So it's Jelly that leads away. Flex, can he get the switch back? He tries for the outside line going into Cog, which is the inside for Seagrave. He gets run out wide, there's a rub between them. Sutton goes through, makes it stick. This is Tom Chilton up the inside of Carl Baldley and goes through. That looks a lot wetter than it was a lap ago. The nice warm slicks for Jake Hill are about to give him the race lead. Jake Hill leads at Thruxton. Now Sutton goes for the inside line. The wets work, he's got the grip, he's got the traction, he's got the lead, and Ash Sutton then goes through. The man that started the day on pole position for race 1 leads, but Jake Hill comes back at him. Fantastic. Wets versus Slick. Hill tries to get back on the inside line, he can't quite do it. Ash Sutton, reigning champion, is going to win race 3 of the day. The checkered flag is at the ready. Ash Sutton wins. Oh, another race full of drama and full of great racing.
The first round, I think when you said roller coaster, it perfectly summed it up. The highs and lows of British touring cars has really played its part, but I think we've really shown what we're capable of. So to sum it up, ultimately, it's been interesting. The car has been absolutely phenomenal, wet or dry all weekend, and we've just been very unfortunate with incident in race 1 and then an engine issue in race 2. So the first round back's been really exciting. Going to be good to get back out at Snet. It's a good mix in the calendar, so hopefully we see everyone there and put a better show on than we did today.
Making way for the winner of round 3, Ash Sutton. Well done, Ash. Congratulations. Up the podium steps he goes to the reigning champion. 2 trophies, the winner and the independent winner. Ash Sutton on the top step of the podium. And now the national anthem of the winning driver.
It feels like the first race weekend was almost what I describe as a winter series round. It was 5 weeks ago, it was chaos, it was everything trying to learn its way, all that type of stuff. So coming here, I feel like we're coming to a circuit that I know, that we tested at pre-season, and I'm a bit more of an eye open as to what to expect, as opposed to when we went to Thruxton, it was really a guess. We hadn't been out there, we hadn't been on hards, we hadn't even been out in the wet. So there was just so many variables that it's nice to come to round 2 with a bit more, with our feet on the ground.
It was a real up and down weekend. It's one of those of what could have been. We're not coming here at Snetterton with a huge amount of ballast, 48 kilos exactly. So yeah, it just means it might assist us in qualifying a little bit to get a bit further up to then turn things around this weekend. Colin's always been strong here. Over the years, he's shown that with his results. For me, I feel like we can race our way through. So ultimately, if we don't have that perfect lap time or the qualifying pace to be where he is, there's always that element in terms of racing and pulling it through. And if I'm honest, you can go and win 2 races, but if you don't win the third or have a good result in the third, your weekend doesn't look quite as good. Look back at Josh Cook, Thruxton. He goes and wins the first 2, has a bad third, and it just massively counteracts what you do. So consistency is key here, and that's what I'll be aiming for.
I always think you can get away with 1 bad race weekend in this championship, and we've done that. Both me and Adam tick the boxes. We haven't scored many points at Thruxton. And even Colin Turkington, let's be honest, 4 times champion in BMW, he's 7th in the championship after Thruxton, which kind of says it all. You know, we really struggled with the rear-wheel drive round there. But now it's hot at Twisty Snetterton, and we've got a soft tyre, and apparently, I haven't tried it yet, but apparently the soft tyre is the best tyre on the BMW. So I'm really looking forward to trying it at one of my races this weekend, which is completely different, the rules. You don't have to choose your tyre now before qualifying. This year you can just decide before you leave the pit box in one of the races when you run it, which is all a bit more of a surprise for everybody, especially the commentators and the fans. Who's got what tyres in this race? You don't know until we're leaving the pit lane, so that's going to be exciting.
To me, this weekend marks the start of the actual season. Now everything is in quick succession. Now we get to roll into one weekend to the next. And to say I'm excited is probably an understatement. I always hate when people sound really arrogant, but honestly, I thought I drove really well. like I haven't driven great all day, but I thought I actually drove pretty okay there. But the pace just wasn't there. I think the chassis feels good. It's just a hard pill to swallow because everyone's worked hard, and we've not got the rewards. Okay, I'm done. I now need to try and take this off.
Yeah, we're not quite sure if I'm honest. First part of qualifying, we managed to get a lap under our belt, but that got taken away for track limits. So we actually only got 2 flying laps, and then come in, got another set of tyres on. And as we were on the warm-up procedure, there was a knocking noise. Not quite sure what we can put on. Whether you're at low speed, high speed, there's a loss of power as well in there. So it really hampered us trying to get back into that top 10. But look, even if we got there, we still didn't have an engine or a car that could ultimately perform them sort of lap times, I'm afraid. Next step now is just firstly diagnose the issue, work out what that is, and then we can actually set a plan to come back. But obviously tomorrow starting P16, I think is obviously going to be a little bit harder in race 1, but I guess the ultimate goal will be race 3 again.
Welcome to sunny Snetterton, deep in the heart of the East Anglian countryside, for the second weekend of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. But here at Snetterton, the crowds are back, limited in number but strong on enthusiasm. And as far as the drivers are concerned, for the first time in 18 months, the show is now complete.
So we're here, it's race day at Snetterton on Sunday. The cars behind me just getting warmed up, ready for race 1. The sun is beaming hot, and who knows what's going to happen in race 1, but we're starting in a great position in P12. I'm going for the win in race 3. That is my plan for today.
But let us see how race day at Snetterton is going to pan out, because the last few cars come into place. Jade Edwards' drivers now look towards the lights. The 5-second board is withdrawn, so Colin Turkington on pole should make the best start, but as the lights go out, Now, let's see, he does get away nicely, so also Stephen Jelly from the second row of the grid. Tom Oliphant can't find a way through the traffic in his BMW. Tom Ingram goes defensive with Rory Butcher crawling all over the back of him, down towards Riches, so Turkington leads.
5 laps remaining, 5 laps remaining.
Because Chilton's on the back of Rowbottom, and Rowbottom in turn wants to get way past Jack Goff. The other driver making progress, Ash Sutton, by the way, up into 11th place.
Last lap.
That's Tom Chilton facing the wrong way at Wilson.
That was not clever, Tom.
There was a fast approaching Gordon Shedden. Not sure if there was a touch. Oh, rejoins and forces Jess Hawkins way out wide.
Will he get touched or not? Okay, mate. Okay, that puts you 21st. So let's pick up rubber and take it easy on the way back in, please. Pick up rubber.
I've got no first few laps, I've got no turning on the brakes.
That's what balance it can't feel right.
Sutton can dive left and right,
Yeah.
so I'm just understeer. Doesn't matter what I'm doing with the brake and the throttle, I've got a massive understeer. He can really turn under me. So we just finished race 1 and not exactly where we wanted to be. I was hoping that I was going to move forwards, and I just physically couldn't. With the balance of the car, I couldn't get the tyre to do what I wanted it to do at any point in the lap. Had a beautiful 180-degree spin at the hairpin, which made me go from 14th down to 21st. So that wasn't where I wanted to finish at all. I'm actually thinking the hottest bit of the day, let's go for the softs, because everyone will be pretty much on the mediums and thinking it's too hot. So I think, as I'm so far back, let's go for a gamble. Let's go for it.
It'd be nice to be bouncing around podium area, but obviously with the 75 kilos on that might be a bit difficult. You know, it is basically championship contenders are all around or in front of us, apart from Jake Hill. Yeah. Cookie's obviously out of position, but he's going to be on the soft, so it's hard to judge how they're going to perform.
I'm on his shed, going to go for a race.
Yeah.
Because everyone in front of him's on the medium and a bit of weight. He's in the same scenario we were last race, identical.
You could have an issue at the front where the two BMs, they're not going to be giving each other any room. They're both going to be fighting for it. Yeah. So they could back everything up into the rest of the pack.
Aim for a top 5 then.
Yeah.
And just click. Hopefully finish in front of Colin, that'd be a nice one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fine.
I think we need to counteract the weight, but I think actually
we still need to have that balanced football.
Yeah.
We'll go with that then.
All right, sounds good.
Race 1, we've just done that. It was average at best, to be perfectly honest. Finding our feet a little bit, got ran wide by another car on lap 2 or 3 and dropped us down the order. And the problem is, every car on the grid is separated by a couple of tenths. So if you lose a second, it takes you 10 laps to make up that second effectively. It's very easy, and you see the younger drivers where they don't realise that. They'll fight from lap 1 defending on a white line on the inside for P-nowhere, and you end up just losing time, and if anything, you kind of get caught out in more incidents. So I think I just need to be tactical, know that we potentially have a tyre advantage in this one, and just pick them off one by one, as patient as possible, keep the car pointed in the right direction, and yeah, see if we can get to the top 12 and catch that reverse grid.
Let battle commence. It is go, and a good start is made by Morgan and also by Jelly. Tom Oliphant gets away nicely too, and Ingram takes the fight to Turkington. He gets squeezed onto the grass there. And a very good first lap from Ash Sutton. Sutton prizes open the door, gets up the inside as they go towards Williams. Through he goes, job done.
9 tenths, in other words, nearly a second quicker than Ingram and Jackson were going. Look how he's closed up.
And he did that fastest lap as well as overtaking 2 people, you know, so he had the traffic to think about as well as all of that. So he is in blistering form, as I say, the soft tyre, no weight in the car, and he has arrived on the back of Ingram.
Has he forced the door open enough? He has.
So through goes Ash Sutton, then up on the inside, he goes third.
Still plenty of time, we don't need to rush this.
It is not if, it is when Ash Sutton's going to get the lead. He could barely be closer, almost pushing Turkington out of turn 3. Fantastic.
Great job, mate. Look after the tyres now. 4 to go.
It is at the ready, and Ash Sutton is going to come through for a second win of the season. Round 5 of the championship is won by Ash Sutton, but only just. Colin Turkington, 0.4 of a second behind him.
Absolutely mega drive. What, with the soft tyre? Yeah. Well, we waited to see what everyone else was going to do in race 1. We sat back in the garage without making a decision. We let everyone else make our race 2 decision for us, knowing what strategy we wanted to be on for this one. And it's played out kind of perfectly.
Roller coaster. Yeah, look, where do I start? Obviously, just shows how quick your luck can change in touring cars. Obviously, engine failure at the start of qualifying. Somehow we managed to drag a lap out of it, putting us P16, but ultimately just made Sunday, today, the race day, a little bit harder. Yeah, we made the best job we could in race 1, getting up to P11, and then the ultimate goal was to win race 2, which we went out and set and did. The soft tyre played a big part of that, and then it was just a case of damage limitation, but in hindsight, it was a much better race than that.
Round 6 of the series is won by Tom Ingram, who is absolutely over the moon as he comes across the line. Tom Ingram wins from Ash Sutton in second place. Third.
Obviously, to get second, come away with the championship lead, it's like icing on the cake. That if someone offered me that yesterday, I'd have took it. But it just makes Brands a very difficult meeting. Obviously, going there full weight, the track really relies on acceleration and braking. We always know how close it is there, so it's going to be a real challenge in qualifying, but the aim would be to shed the weight and crack on in race 2 and 3.
So yeah, like this weekend, it was probably a bit of a reminder of what touring cars can be sometimes. Into turn 2, someone hit us so hard at the back that someone hit me so hard into the second hairpin that it's crumpled the rear boot lid, moved my helmet on my head, and then sent me into, well, Tom, in front of us, which ended his race as well. But we need to find that little bit more to go from 10 to 15 to 5th to 10th, and then we'll be right in the mix. I think it will probably take another weekend or 2 for us to really challenge for wins. But at the same time, there's nothing more that these guys can do. Like everyone at Team Hard is putting in 110% effort, and this will develop to be a winning package. It's just going to take that little bit of time. We're finally into the flow of the season. It's only 2 weeks. We don't have to wait another month to get to the next race. So actually now we can learn from here, have a team debrief tomorrow or the next day, kind of make a plan of action for in a week's time, and all of a sudden roll into that with a lot more momentum.
I'm so happy to be here at Brands Hatch. It's my local circuit. It's just 30 minutes down the road from me. I live near Gatwick Airport in Reigate, Surrey. And I definitely have done probably more laps around Brands Hatch Indy than any other circuit in the world. And I've got my family and my friends coming this weekend to support me. It's brilliant we're allowed the crowd in. Yeah, I've even got my 3 boys coming this weekend, so no pressure. If I don't do well, my boys will be saying, "Daddy, why didn't you win? Why didn't you bring home a trophy, Daddy?" So I will be trying my absolute best to get a podium this weekend.
So Brands Hatch as a circuit is probably different to a lot. Like only yesterday when I went for a run around it, do you realise just how steep coming out of paddock actually is? When you're in the car, You don't really notice it. I remember my first ever run around here in like what was a Renault Clio in the Clio Cup, and the first time you go down into that compression, it's like a roller coaster sensation in your skin. But as a circuit, it is a brilliant track, and only, like as I said, when I was running around it yesterday, do you see just how slick the whole place is. Like, it's such a nice setting, like Druids the Hairpin with all the trees. I've probably already said this, but I rate circuits on local amenities. So the fact that Bluewater is close for dinner each evening scores this a 10 out of 10. Coming into round 3, I probably feel a little bit more optimistic. We're starting to understand what the Cooper needs in general. I would say as a team, we're probably in our best position yet. I would say I'm always an eternal optimist, but I feel we've made significant inroads ahead of this weekend.
Brands Hatch as a circuit. Indy layout, it's very short, it's very tricky, very compact when you're out in qualifying, for example. Trying to fit 30 cars around here is very, very hard. But in terms of actually coming to a Sunday on race day, there's a massive element of overtaking how hard it is. It's a tight track as it is, and to defend it's actually quite an easy job, so it makes the overtaking very, very hard. So qualifying is really, really key.
This is really hard. Qualifying just now didn't go as planned, 100%. In free practice 1 and free practice 2, we made some very good changes towards getting the balance right. I was very confident with my car at the beginning of free practice 2, where everybody had used tyres on. So we were all in the same boat, and I was P6. Adam was very strong in free practice 2 when he put the new tyres on and was P8, I think it was. Yeah. And going into qualifying just then, Adam was actually P9 until he had his time taken away for overusing the circuit. So fundamentally we do have a bit of a quali and a race setup.
There's been nothing set in stone that's given Adam the qualifying car and you the race car. That's just something that's evolved naturally over your settings.
Engineers and our feedback, and I'm very much a guy who does a lot of laps in everything I do, and I'm always looking for the perfect race car, because that's where you score the points.
Yes.
Adam's a bit younger, he's a bit newer, he's pushing really hard for that quali time, and he's going for that quali setup. And I think actually me and Adam as a pair are very good, because we've got a bit of both. We've got that young speed from Adam, and we've got me with experience
racecraft
and racecraft. So the pair of us together, I think, are very good. We just need to be working harder on getting, I think, a bit more out of it in qualifying. Plan tomorrow is only one way, and that is forwards. And like I said, with the race pace we got in the car, I think after the first few laps, when we waited for the tyres to come up to pressure, we will be fighting, 100% fighting.
The pace is in the cars, we just need to unlock it, all of us. So but there is definitely pace in them.
Norman is the team manager, and he is an absolute legend. He's done 14 tours in the Special Forces, and there's nobody quite like Norman, I've got to say. He is an exception on the grid. So the role of a team manager is so important. You know, they need to organise the team, make sure everybody's in the right place at the right time. You know, even things like the drivers, looking after the drivers is a big thing. And on race weekends, obviously there's some times where there's a little bit of tangle on track, and you need your team manager to take you up to the big dark bus, Tocker bus. The role of the team manager is to make sure that everything goes well for the team and everything is positive for the team, to get the most performance out of every single person in the team and the drivers, and to, at the end of the day, score the most amount of points possible.
It's weekend number 3 in the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. The weather is not exactly playing its part, but for the 4,000 spectators allowed into this Indy circuit at Brands Hatch, they will enjoy the action at one of the best spectator venues in the sport.
My name is Tony Gillam, team owner of Team Hard Racing. Race 1, we were starting a little bit further back than we'd have hoped from qualifying. Nonetheless, the drivers all moving through. Aaron, steady progress through race 1 and race 2, just up into the points. Aaron and the guys are so positive with every change that we're making, and we are stepping forward every weekend. So positivity is breeding, it's coming, we're getting better every weekend, and hopefully we can keep chipping away. We know we've got a good car, we know we've got sensible race pace, but it's about what happens around us.
I'm Alan Potts, Team Manager, Laser Tools Racing.
We're just preparing the cars for race 3. So far we've had a really strong day with Ash and Aidan in terms of points. Aidan picked up damage on lap 1, which affected his steering, so the car wasn't handling very well at all, so he fell back a little bit. He defended for all he was worth and was able to hold off the pack, which helped Ashley probably a little bit. And you always know that Ash is going to go for a gap if he sees one, and you know, we get nervous about that, but I don't know about him, he's always quite cool when you hear him on the radio. I think we get more of a sweat on in the garage than he does, to be honest. Race 3, Aidan's starting on position 4 on the second row. We're hoping he's not got a lot of weight on, so we're hoping he can go forward with like a podium or a win. I think for Ashley in race 3 is to stay ahead of Ingram, because that's the two of them are pretty much tied at the top of the championship at the moment.
We've had a really hard weekend. Qualifying was a disaster, but today setup's been getting better and better, and Tom's been super strong in the second race. I was shouting at Tom beforehand. I was like, you need one more place to be in for a reverse grid. I mean, to be fair, you can't nerf your teammate off, it's just not allowed. But you know, I was all up for a clean pass. But no, I mean, we're all obviously over the moon that he's on pole, and hopefully he'll close it out with a win.
It's just like, because you've lost a bit of control. Like it's gone. It's out, completely out of any of our hands now. It's all up to Aaron. Actually, it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, that's a worry.
We're joking, by the way. If you're watching, Aaron.
And so for a final time, the cars make their way up to the grid. The cars are all back, 5-second board shown, and the drivers then get set, ready for round 9 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. It is Adam Morgan on pole position. The lights are red. It is go. Good getaway by Aidan Moffat, but a great start by Morgan. Then he leaps forward into the lead as Moffat comes up on the outside there to try to go around the outside of Goff. Good getaway also by Jason Plato in the Astra. He slots into 4th as the cars drop through Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. So the long queue of cars comes up to end lap 1 out of 24. Morgan it is leading the way. Jack Goff second, and then Aidan Moffat has got everybody else stacked up behind him, and another lock-up by Morgan going up towards Paddock. Replay here of the cars going through Paddock, and Jack Goff losing second place to Aidan Moffat. He's retaken Moffat. This is how he did it. The inside at clearways, elbows out, and on the power. A bit of an incident there. We've had more fun and games going through Paddock. Jake Hill there getting a rub from Aaron Taylor-Smith. They're going to be side by side to the line in a race won by Adam Morgan, the 9th of his career. Adam Morgan wins at Brands Hatch for Car Gods in Sicily, but look at the third, side by side over the line. Who got the nod? According to the timekeepers, Aidan Moffat third by 12 thousandths of a second from Jason Plato.
Okay, Tom, that's checkered flag P18. P18. Good job, mate. Looked like we struggled a little bit at the beginning.
Sicily Motorsport Squad celebrating a victory here at Brands Hatch.
Here at Brands Hatch lifts the trophy and stands by the second step of the podium, and another welcome return to the podium for our winner, Adam Morgan. Well done, Adam. Congratulations again, a debut year for the BMW with Car Gods with Sicily Motorsports, and congratulated by Jack Goff, congratulated by Aidan Moffat, and 2 trophies. One's the independent win and one is the win for round 9. And now the national anthem for the winning driver.
Fantastic to get a win on our 3rd time out in a new car, rear-wheel drive. Just a fantastic result, really early as well. We didn't expect it that early, so we're over the moon. Yeah. Shame about Tom getting pushed out. He got pushed to pass and everybody got through. But as a team, you know, everybody's overjoyed that we're finally on the top step. This weekend has absolutely filled us with confidence. We're a confident team anyway, but this weekend the engineers are happy, the drivers are working really well to get the car set up, And moving forward, we're really looking forward to Alton Park, so bring it on, it's our home circuit, and let's get some more trophies.
I'm Adam Morgan and I race with Car Gods of Sicily Motorsport. I think your local track's always a bit special because you always get your biggest crowd here. You get all your sponsors, all your family tend to come as well, and all your friends. So that adds a bit more pressure as well. But Alton Park, I think, is probably one of the most favourite tracks for most drivers. It is a real driver's circuit. You know, there's lots of undulation, lots of corners with lots of camber. I think it'll be the biggest crowd we've possibly ever had.
I'm Aidan Moffat and I drive for Laser Tools Racing. We started touring cars in 2013. Yeah, one day we got offered a one-off shot of a touring car at Knockhill when I was 16 years old and foolishly said yes, and it was hard work. But yeah, from that we finished the season, got some points in our first year, and ever since the following year we've been Laser Tools Racing.
So yeah, I'm Jack Goff and obviously I'm racing the new Cupra Leon for Autobright Racing with Team Hard obviously as well. So yeah. Alton Park's a bit of a weird one really. I see it as like a mini Monaco as far as touring cars go because the track is actually quite narrow for the cars this sort of size. So I think qualifying and Saturdays are very, very important. We need to get our heads down, make sure we get a good Saturday, which hopefully will lead to a good Sunday.
Jack, I would say, is a really good friend of ours. Like, he came to our wedding. He's someone that, you know, I respect the work that they put in and the dedication that it requires. So actually, the rivalry is good and I enjoy it. I've got another saying in this case, and it's iron sharpens iron. At the end of the day, that's what this is. We're pushing development of a new car, and it's only going to steamroll everything to really further it.
Getting the first team's podium at Brands Hatch, obviously the home track for the team. First one with the Cupra Leon as well, was brilliant. It's a little bit of a repaying of the hard work the boys and girls had put in over the winter time. It's not easy building one car, let alone building 4 brand new Cupras, and then obviously rebuilding Glyn's car after the Thruxton crash. So they've worked stupidly hard over the off season as such. So yeah, to get the first one is a good tick in the box, but we need to make sure we get a few more now.
It was mainly for the team, was that, you know, they've worked so hard and just put so much effort into it. It was mega. I mean, I nearly threw it away. I had 2 massive lockups early on, so I nearly wrecked it. You know, to get that first podium in a new car is massive.
As a team, I think we've done really well. I mean, this is the most competitive championship in the UK, and it's one of the most competitive championships in the world. And whenever you change something really big, like the car, it is a big shift. And it takes usually people a good few years to learn how to operate it and get the most out of it, really optimise everything.
Yeah, I think for the team overall, we've had a lot of progression from last year, and going off of the solid results that we've both picked up, off the back of what Aidan did at Brands Hatch last weekend, it's good. It's good to have 2 cars at the front now.
Free practice 2, it was good. You know, it's always nice to be P1. But on the other hand, you know, I've been in this game long enough now to realise that free practice means absolutely nothing. Different tyres, changeable conditions, getting the tyres on at the right point when the track's dry, and that's a really key item to be trying to focus on. But you know, from our side, in our side of the garage and our team, then I was pretty happy with our performance. For qualifying, obviously the plan is always to be on pole. Realistically, I don't think we're fast enough to be on pole position. I'm going to say somewhere around P10 is, I think, where our pace is. Obviously, you got ballast to throw in the mix. We're only carrying 15 kilos. Ash Sutton, for instance, carrying 75. But I think it will hurt people more so here than, say, like a Brands Hatch Indy or a Silverstone. I'm hoping that'll play into our favour a little bit, and we can sneak into the top 10, and that'll give us a real good sort of fighting chance for tomorrow.
Welcome to our 4th weekend of 2021 Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship action. We're on our tour north. We were at Brands Hatch last time. We're in Cheshire at Alton Park this weekend. Next time out, of course, we're up in Scotland at Knockhill. That'll be open too. And open is the key word. The championship wide open, and the gates are open for the first time since the end of the 2019 season.
Jack Goff to green sectors. He's on the final sector of the lap. Is this going to move Jack further up?
Come on,
and then
Jack.
we're looking to maintain a 100% points finish record that he's got so far this season, and goes fourth. That's certainly going to help his cause.
Good boy, good boy. Come on, Jack.
Here's your qualifying result.
Senna Proctor on pole position, Gordon Shedden in P2, Jack Goff finishes in 5th place. The outside of the 3rd row will go to Adam Morgan, Jake Hill 7th from Stephen Jelly, then Colin Turkington in 9th, and Ash Sutton, the championship leader, fully ballasted in 10th.
Take that, son. Hey, well done, mate.
That's where you need to be on this track, don't you?
Me, yeah.
I'll tell you what, we have a good day tomorrow.
Honestly.
We could be up there.
Yeah. Well done, mate. Good job. Good job, Jack.
Not too bad.
I'll stop moaning. Get on with it.
So yeah, qualifying. To be honest with you, I thought we was looking more likely to be 10th to 15th. That's where I was sort of thinking we was going to be. We went out on the first set of tyres in qualifying, and we were about P10 to P15. And then Jay was like, the team manager, I need to find like 4 temps. And I was like, phew. We made a small tweak to the car, and that's the beauty of this new Cupra Leon. We can make a small tweak, and the thing gets transformed. So the car came alive. That's the best the car's felt. Yes, so we can be happy with that, but we need to go and make some more tweaks to make sure we're quickest next. I looked down and I was like, that delta time is still not working. So obviously got confused. And I was like, 26.6, that's a bit crap. And I looked down, I was like, 25.6.
It's the boss on speaker.
Hello, hello. Not bad, mate. You should stay away more often.
Yeah, you're not invited anymore, mate. Those TVs on, please.
This is great to have everybody back in as we look forward to round 10 of the championship. Senna Proctor on pole position. Lights are on, out go the lights. Let's see as the 10th round of the 2021 championship is underway, and look at that, Rory Butcher goes right out towards the wall, gets it all back in. Shedden's having a look round the outside line, but it's the 2 Hondas that come through in the position, Tim.
Oh, and out wide.
That's Colin Turkington, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, I can see it. I'm logging it, mate. Keep pushing. It's good job, Jack. Good job.
Now what has happened? Oh, and a spin, Tom Oliphant, and contact.
Oh! Okay, Jack, so yeah, it's a big shunt at the last turn. 2 people, only per car, down there, okay? 2 people per car.
Here we go then, ready for the restart of round 10. Engine notes are rising here at all. Parking anticipation lights are on. And we're underway. Good start by Rowbottom side by side with Gordon Shedden. Let's see whether Rowbottom can get the run. And he does. It's Rowbottom from the outside. Quick start by the BMW as well of Adam Morgan in 3rd position. Dan Rowbottom will take a first win in the British Touring Car Championship. Flashes his lights. Rowbottom takes the win.
Okay, mate, P10. Good job, Jack, good job. Yeah, so started P5, and yeah, we just struggled on the brakes really. Obviously the first race in the Cupra here, so we almost knew it was going to be a bit of a challenge. Got caught out by another car, sort of pushed us out the way really, but yeah, he dug deep. The restart sort of helped us a little bit probably to cool everything back down. So yeah, P10, still points, so yeah, we'll go again for race 2.
Do you know what? I felt like the second half of the race was really enjoyable. It was really good fun. It was nice to have a good fight right at the end and not get punches, because after that crash with all the boys down at Lodge Corner, they all spun and bodywork was everywhere. And I went through it and I went over all the fiberglass, and I was actually really worried that I was going to get punches. So luckily we didn't. And I just found out that Adam finished 3rd, and really happy for him and all the boys in the team.
Third place, Adam Morgan. Big cheers, Adam. Very, very popular indeed. Huge amount of support for Adam as he climbs on through first step.
Last car's just coming into line. The start of the third and final race of the weekend here at Alton Park. Long wait on the lights, and as expected, Ash Sutton gets away well. Senna Proctor not too bad with his ballast as well as they head down into turn one, side by side for the lead. And Ash Sutton's going to go for it. Senna Proctor holding ground though on the inside line, and Sutton's being made to work. It's Jelly in third place, still a bit of a rub with the Honda, and Senna Proctor making a fight of it, but Sutton goes through into the lead.
Yeah, well, he didn't do it at turn one, and we've got a rotating Sam Osborne. Collected by Jack Butel. Lots of cars off.
Yeah.
Tom got it back.
I don't know. Red flag said all.
Okay, red flag again. Okay. Roughly same procedure as before. It's been a messy day. Yeah, there's a lot of car damage. Full restart. And we'll give you a nod when we see the 5 minutes order. It'll start from 5 minutes.
A real labour of love for these teams to get these cars not only back out on track, but looking absolutely immaculate. And Tom Oliphant's car is looking just that. Senna Proctor on pole. He is front row, left of shot. To his right, Ash Sutton, lights on. And round 12 is underway. Let's see, Sutton gets away well. Everybody off the line. And once again, Senna Proctor seems to be holding his own as they go down into Old Hall. But Ash Sutton's going to go for the sweep round the outside. Got his nose in front and gets tagged by Proctor. The script has been torn up again.
Well, Proctor knew what was coming, and Sutton braved it out round the outside. He was fortunate. Oh, he's now tagged his teammate, Carl Boardley. That wheel's come off, so that's going to be a problem.
Adam Morgan, 2/3 so far, side by side with Moffat there. Moffat, battle-scarred car coming through.
Copy, 10 laps to go.
Jack Goff having a little bit of a moment off the track.
3 laps to go, 3 laps.
The car's working well for him.
It was, he's got those soft tyres on,
Yep.
and they're, Boardley's off!
Boardley and tags! Butcher.
Big crash there.
Yeah.
That's the fastest corner on the track.
Okay, it's a red flag again, Adam. Red flag, red flag. Follow Marshall's advice there. There's an incident in the last corner that's caused this.
Follow the instructions, I think.
3 laps to go.
No restart. No restart.
Okay.
Yeah. No, there is no restart. I think that is the end of the race.
Okay, it's now decided there's no restart. So race is completed. So P5, well done. Yeah, that's a bloody good weekend. Thanks, mate. Thank you very much, Christopher. Tony. Yeah, well, we've managed to avoid most of the incidents, luckily. That's the thing. You know, weekends that are involved, you can be fast, you can be everything. You've got to also have a little bit of luck to avoid incidents. Being at the front is helpful, you know, and that's where, you know, Adam qualified 6th, and suddenly you're in a whole different league there where the less accidents happen around where, you know, it's the midfield, as you saw in that thing. You know, everyone's bunching up in the middle, and that's where accidents happen. So we were clear of that, really. This weekend has been fantastic. You know, we've really made progress and really good points haul. Adam is driving superbly. I think really we're ahead of the curve where we probably thought we would be. So I'm delighted, really. It's and so early in the season. You know, we've still got 6 weekends to go, so very exciting.
Yeah, just a day to forget, I think. It's a day of what could have been. Race 1, we were involved in an incident which took us out, put us stone cold last. Managed to fight our way back to P14. Race 2, what was a solid race, to be fair, the car was mega. Yeah, got up to P8. Obviously reverse grid, got drawn on P9, so it put us second for the last race. And We're on the right tyre, the soft tyre, hardly any weight. It should have been plain sailing, but unfortunately we just got tagged at turn 1, and I managed to save it. We did a full 360, but yeah, then there was another big contact down at turn 2, which ended the race. Look, this place is hard. It's tight here. It's one of the tighter tracks on the track.
Race 3 was sort of a problem that stemmed from race 2 because we got taken out in race 2 when we were about P8, P9, and then you start at the back. We made a really good start. We got about 3 people into turn 1. And then there was an accident in front of us where people don't give space. A track like this, you can't get away with it. And we just got caught up in somebody else's accident once again. So that's 2 races out of 3 today that I've been caught in somebody else's problems. But that's racing, I guess, around a tight, twisty track like One Park. We thought we'd got away from that by qualifying 5th, but it wasn't to be, unfortunately. It's one of those days. But yeah, we thought we had done the hard bit, getting out of trouble. But clearly not. Clearly not. We'll go again, mate. We'll go again.
Here we are at, I think it's round 5 of the 2021 Championship at lovely Knockhill.
Knockhill was a circuit. She's a lively one. I think that's why I gel with a track. It's full commitment.
Honestly, I can't believe it's the 5th weekend. It's flown by, and every time I come here I think it's my favourite circuit, and I think it's because it goes up and down hills more than any other circuit, and I love undulations. I love big curves.
I can barely see what's coming at me. This is all coming so fast. The curves are so aggressive. It is like no other. I think it favours the brave, and you kind of just have to hang it out a little bit, and that's probably what I'm good at, which is nice.
Obviously there's a lot of blind crests. In terms of balance of the car, it's always on a knife edge, but you're constantly pulling gears, worrying about what's the other side of the crest over the finish line. And yeah, I just love this place. It's absolutely mega. It reminds me of a kart track.
Being halfway through the year, a lot has gone to plan while the results haven't got to show it yet. I've felt more at home than I've ever have in this championship. But what Team Hard and what Tony, Sammy, Gary, Jay and everyone in here have created is an atmosphere like no other.
Yeah, Alton Park was a tough weekend to sort of overcome. Obviously you go there, it's normally an okay circuit for us. I think ultimately our championship contenders also suffered some bad luck, so to come away still leading it, you just got to look at the positives. If anything, we actually extended the championships somehow.
I was honest at the beginning, and I did say that I think it will be more of a 2-year program. I said the first year I will be learning at every circuit, so I always knew I was going to not necessarily be winning the championship, but I thought deep down I would be definitely in the top 10, and I'm not. I was in the top 10 last weekend, which is the first time this year. So in that respect, it has taken me twice as long as I thought it would take me, if I'm completely honest. But I'm so happy I'm finally there. I'm so happy we made it.
Coming into this weekend, Knockhill, I'm feeling quite confident. It's always been fairly strong for me as a driver, and okay, we're coming here with a little bit more weight, but I think we're in good stead.
It is all about qualifying around Knockhill. You can defend very, very easily around the circuit. Probably more than any other circuit we race at, maybe other than Brands Indy, you can really defend around here. So it is all about qualifying. It's Knockhill, it's the British touring cars, anything can happen. So, bubbity boopy.
After the demands of Alton Park, everybody is taped up, patched up, rebuilt, ready to go as we head north of the border. We're at Knockhill this weekend, 1.27 miles long, and we come here after an all-action, a bruising indeed, Alton Park, but one venue that always delivers great racing and a qualifying session that is set to be very important indeed. Ash Sutton comes here as the championship leader despite not having the best of times in Cheshire, with Tom Ingram and Dan Rowbottom chasing him within the standings.
He'll be alright. Cool. So he's not feeling particularly good at the minute at all. His head's definitely in the right place. We'll see how his body is physically. Dodgy muscles, I think. Not really what you want going into qualifying. It's probably good TV for you. Yeah, if he could have put that last sector on that one, it'd have been
What's that difference?
Half a tenth.
Half a tenth?
Yeah, nearly half a tenth.
It would have been 4 positions.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
3 positions?
3 100ths would have moved us up to P3, I think. After that, back to that.
So we're doing 3 runs, 9 laps, so out, 9 laps in. What we looked at last year, between lap 4 and lap 9 is the optimal for the tyre. So just bring them in slowly, those 4 laps is not a problem. So you've got an out 4 laps to bring them in.
Sutton getting up through the traffic now.
Yeah, he's been a bit impeded, but he's absolutely flying. You saw him hurl it into turn 1, Duffer's Dip. And he's already doing very good time. 51.0, that's the quickest time we've seen this weekend. Oh, he completely straight-lined it. Completely straight-lined it.
Walking to the gravel. That's right, mate, you're still P1. Turkington is on a 51.35, obviously they're going to go quickly when they get their laps in.
Green flag is waved then, so the clock is ticking again as the cars are pulled backwards by the teams and then released down the pit lane. Aaron Taylor-Smith's Cupra good to go.
Four laps remaining after this one. You've still got time for a breather.
He's happy, got there, just ran out wide and then round came the back. That is Carl Bordley, is it not? That's Sutton who's had a moment at the chicane. So Sutton survives it and is 6th, but yes, Chris Smiley a 10th down on Turkington, but improves to 3rd on the grid.
Yeah, good. I think Ash did a mega job there, given how he was feeling before that one. Yeah. He was consistently putting in times that were in the same sort of region. It was just not getting the slipstream at the right time, I think. That was all it was. He was just trying on the last lap. He was just trying to push for that extra half a tenth. Half a tenth would have sent him 4 places on the grid, so that's really what he wanted. But that was good. I think overall that's a positive session given the weight we've got.
I always hate it because before I go out in the car, I'm always so optimistic. And then I go out in the car and I was like, well, this is not going to plan. It's not demoralizing because like I feel like I'm doing the best that I physically can currently, but I just want to be doing better. Like I've driven worse in other cars and qualified on the front row. That's what's so frustrating. If we catch the reverse grid, someone will have to fire me off to win. Like I'll do everything I can to stay there. So we shall see. It's like a dead body.
Don't put my back, idiot.
I reckon you could wring the cuffs of it because it always collects in the cuffs.
It was on my back.
Your helmet's gonna go. Oh, lovely. Not going to be a barista anytime soon.
What is this? I'm so disappointed.
Dishwasher water.
It's too fast for my life.
So we're here, sunny Knock Hill somehow, and it's race day, Sunday. Yeah, qualifying yesterday was, I think, making the best of a bad situation. I was feeling a bit under the weather myself, suffered food poisoning, so I just literally crashed in the middle of the day. So sort of strapping myself in for qualifying was a real tough task, but we managed to pull out a stonking lap, put us P6 on the grid. But yeah, to then climb out the car and nearly fall over just sort of highlights how sort of rough I was feeling.
Welcome back to Knock Hill, round 13 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. It's almost good to go. The grid is being cleared at the 1 minute board. Engines will fire up, the last engineers will make their way. This is Colin Turkington's BMW that lines up on pole position. Lights go red and it is blast off. It should be a good start by the BMW. It is. Senna Proctor moves across to cover off any challenge of Chris Smiley, who also gets the drop there as they dive down towards Duffer's Dip for the first time. And Ingram in the Hyundai's got the inside line and he's got the place as well.
Well, Sutton is the first of the medium compound, the harder of the 2 compounds, and with Maxim Ballast, so he'll be fairly happy with this position at the moment, but I personally think that Moffat would be quicker if he was allowed through.
There goes Dan Lloyd coming out of the chicane.
Safety car, racing team, you see the board.
Safety car, Aaron, safety car.
Speeds build, and we are back racing at Knock Hill.
But his brain is sort of thinking, I'm in a good position here, I can lose a bit of weight for race 2, but how does he ever stop himself as he tries to launch it up the inside of Jake Hill? He's going to get there before they get to Clark.
Great move, through on the inside line. Here of dramas further back in the pack. That's Ollie Jackson having a major lock-up into the hairpin.
Yeah, I think he was... Oh.
And Aaron Taylor-Smith, I think, was slow there.
Aaron Taylor-Smith has a new engine in for this weekend. That was certainly handy.
What's happened there? Does it just cut out?
We sacrificed an enormous amount to be on this grid at all. We lived in a mobile home for 2 years when we raced with BMR. No one really knows that. Like, we lived on site to make this a dream and a reality, for it all to come together.
So sorry, Aaron, so sorry. You were getting there. I guess it just cut out, did it? Aaron, are you too angry to talk?
Probably I skip around and make it look like I'm in good form all the time, but at the same time, this is hard work. You know, like, this is stress.
Yeah, fucking engine map. Just decided to wait to cool down now.
Dad, you could touch it.
But that's safe. Engine map update. Like, I wasn't even near the dial yet. Breaking through the hairpin. Just went into cool down mode and, like, obviously it feels like it's switching off. Yeah. So it took me a while to figure out what was wrong.
This is a stress that stays in your life from February to October. You might get November and December to chill out a little bit if you're not negotiating your deal for next year. But, like, this is all consuming. This is a life to actually race and be competitive in this.
It's only going to be a downward trajectory, but now I feel like it's only going to go better.
That is true.
So I'm kind of like, I just want to...
Lloyd went off. He'll be behind you.
He did.
Oliphant went off.
Which is good because they'll be coming through, and every time they overtake people, you slow down people. So I actually think there could be a nice little...
Hello.
Yeah.
Butcher, did he get a penalty?
Something so simple prevented us from making, like, proper progress. I don't know if I've ever showed you guys, but on the wheel, there's a few different dials and a few different buttons on it. And on one of the laps when I turned into the hairpin, as I put in the steering lock, my sleeve caught the dial, which basically switches off the engine. So it puts it into a cool down mode effectively. It took me probably 10 seconds to figure out what the problem was, because you assume that something is broken in the car or the engine is failing. So it's one of those things where I almost need a minute or two when I get out of the car to chill out and just let it all settle down, but totally fine now. But hard to stomach.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thank you. Cheers.
Quick photo, please.
Quick one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Love it. Always got time for the fans.
Always got time for the fans, mate.
Love it.
I'm not sure if he just clipped me or I just locked the rear left then the rear right, and I had like a bored my girlfriend already. See, she already walked off. I feel like our car's been really strong. Team's done a great job.
These two boys are at the top of the game. They're both too old to be Formula 1 drivers. I'm too big. But this is really, I mean, I've been involved with loads and loads of motorsport, and this is the pinnacle of British motorsport, so BTCC really is where it's at.
So I've actually genuinely really enjoyed today. I feel like I'm understanding the car and how to drive it more. I actually thought through the field really nicely in race 1 and overtook 6 cars in the end, which was brilliant. No, I'm not changing anything with the car other than the tyres, which are the slower tyre by 0.3 of a second a lap. But I'm not going to change anything I'm doing. I'm driving, I think, really well this weekend. So just need a bit more luck and yeah, keep it on the black stuff, more importantly.
hopefully we can move forwards. If we can pick off Cookie and Senna Proctor fairly early on, they've gained significant amounts of weight, so then we can hunt down Colin.
The 1 minute board has been shown, the grid is clearing. This big enthusiastic crowd is set ready for what's going to be a really lively race. As Colin Turkington now makes his way up to the grid. Round 14 is good to go. The lights go red. Colin Turkington on pole position, accelerates away now, gets a good start, and a bad start by Chris Smiley, who staggers away from the line. Everyone has to dodge around him, including Sam Spelt, that goes onto the grass, demolishes the marker board there and gets back onto the road, and mayhem in the background. One of the Team Hard Coopers in the wall. Could have been Nicholas Hamilton, I fear. It is. Nicholas Hamilton is off the road, and we're going to get a safety car, surely, to move that out of harm's way.
Safety car, race until you see the board. Last at the minute, Ingram is sat P8.
We are back running here at Knock Hill. We haven't really had a proper racing lap yet, but this is the end of lap 6, and it's Colin Turkington who leads the field over the timing line. Colin Turkington is in charge, second. Josh Cook, Ash Sutton is third.
I'm pretty sure that was Sutton coming. Cook has seen him and left room on the inside.
Great move. Colin's fastest lap currently 51.21. I'll keep you updated.
Sutton is now up into second place. Jake Hill tries to hunt down Josh Cook, who has not given up yet. So Proctor goes through, Chilton goes through. That's Ingram getting ahead of Butcher and getting all crossed up. There's damage on the back of the Hyundai and one into the gravel on the left as well. But it's all eyes on Sutton right now for the lead, at least, as he tries to hunt down Turkington. Up onto two wheels as he goes through the approach to Duffer's Dip. Turkington has got to defend like never before. Sutton is right there. He's quicker. He's alongside. He's going to be ahead. Is he coming down to the hairpin? Because now Sutton to the outside line. He's got the run in a straight line, but he's going to be on the longer, slower line for the hairpin. Turkington stands on the brakes, tries to run Sutton out wide. Ash stands his ground on the outside and does get run out wide through the gravel with two wheels onto the dirt as well. It's his lead. He covers him off.
Yeah, he certainly doesn't. Sutton gets a big slide on coming through Clark.
Cook's hung on to fourth somehow ahead of Gordon Shedden. Really good drive this by Josh Cook. As there, Turkington is wide, he's in the gravel, and Sutton's going to go through for the lead. A tiny mistake is forced out of the BMW driver, and Ash Sutton has done it. As Ash Sutton is about to come through then for a third win of the season to increase the lead in the championship. Ash Sutton wins, Turkington second, Hill third.
Did he just run wide?
Yeah. Mega job, mate. He's cracking.
What did he say?
He just started singing about under pressure.
Oh, really?
That's it, mate. Good job, mate.
It's not bad for four of us.
This morning we sat down and had a little plan. We always do this on race day. We sit down with our team and go, right, what's the ultimate goal here? It took us a few laps to chase Colin. He was strong. He was extremely quick then. Yeah, to come back from obviously how we were yesterday, the illness, etc., and to come away with fastest lap then and a win. It just shows the pace we have in the car. Yeah, a slight error from him at the chicane, and yeah, we come away with a win.
And back on the top step of the podium is the reigning champion, Ash Sutton. Also independent win for round 14. And a handshake with Ricky Butler from his team up onto the top step of the podium goes Ash. And all well done.
Great for Thruxton to have a crowd back, adding to the atmosphere, and it's felt like a proper touring car event for sure this weekend.
My name's Ashley Sutton. I race for Laser Tools Racing, and we're here at Thruxton for the second time. Obviously, Knock Hill was an interesting weekend. For me, obviously suffering a little bit of food poisoning on the Saturday really sort of threw me back a little bit. But yeah, we didn't really show any pace at all in FP1 or FP2. But yeah, we just had enough energy there to put a lap together in qualifying, which, if I'm honest, it was perfect to sort of set us up for race day on the Sunday. We're doing the best job we can. We're going to every weekend and extending the championship. So ultimately, what more do you want? Here, obviously, the real issue we have is stopping it into the first chicane and off of the first chicane, the run to Noble. But once you're out the back of the circuit, there's not really much of an effect. Like you said, momentum's up. You're not really having to put any brake input in, so you haven't got the weight affecting you there. It's only when you come back into the final chicane is where you notice the big difference. Under braking, it makes life a bit harder. Tom's done a mega job in that Hyundai. Obviously, Colin I always expected to be there. I expected the likes of Gordon Shedden to be there. But yeah, Jake Hill, Dan Rowbottom, they're people that are keeping you on your toes. I think race 1 we just got to knuckle down. We'll see how we get on in qualifying. But as soon as we can shed some of that weight, I'll always be on that charge. And race 3 I like to get involved.
I've had a mad month. So everyone knows there's 5 weekends in August this year. And I've been racing every single one of them, jointly between the British Touring Cars and the Pure ETCR Championship. And I just got back from Hungary last weekend, ready for Thruxton now. And this is the last one of what I call the Mad 5. So it has been mental for me personally. The first round at the beginning of the year, I said it to you guys at the beginning, it was a lot to do, a lot to take on. With a new rear-wheel drive, and it was damp and it was cold and it was the hard tyre we'd never even tested before, and now we're coming here and it's warm. It's the end of August, it's warm, it's cloudy, it's still like 20 degrees, and I'm happy that we're coming back to the same circuit twice, because it definitely helps with your experience, especially when learning with the new car, new team. It's great this weekend as well that I've got Kevin Berry here, who was my engineer I had at the beginning of the year, you may remember, at Alton Park. Super experienced, and he was actually Colin Turkington's engineer when he was at Westside Racing, so I think that's really going to help us this weekend.
Coming into the 6th round, I am happy, to be honest. I'm happy to be back in the championship. I've missed this. I've missed hanging out with my friends in the paddock. I've missed actually what touring cars are in general. The racing and getting stuck in is something that you just don't see anywhere else. Because there's been points this year where I've thought, this is hard work. But Knockhill was the first time I felt comfortable. I felt like I was enjoying it. I felt like the old me, and I got to put on a proper show. This is the first time we've come back to a track that we've actually raced at with Cupra. And I think what that gives us is a data catalogue of information. So it's nice to be able to apply that and hopefully be in a far better position. This is my dream come true. There's no two ways about it, but it's the most rewarding championship that I've ever been involved in.
Yeah, quali was looking really promising at the very beginning, sort of the first 3 quarters. We were sort of bubbling around P3, P4, and then a couple of the guys that were running lighter, less ballast, popped in some times, which pushed us back to P7. But overall, we're ahead of Colin, we're ahead of Ingram and Shedden, so our key rivals are all behind us, which is good for us.
It's just 2 on the limit.
It's race days where I feel like I'm in my element. Saturdays are more about that fine tuning and everything, and race day I can get stuck in.
We're also aware we are the things between you.
It is qualifying day at Thruxton, and we've just wrapped up. The absolute truth of it is we don't have a qualifying setup, and around this track we have to use the hard tyre, which magnifies our problem. The hard tyre is just that little bit more stubborn, so unless your car really digs in and works the tyre, you can't switch it on. I always feel bad for the guys, they've worked tirelessly to prep the car and get everything ready, and like you get out and I'm disappointed, so I can barely bring myself to say thank you, where like they're as equally as disappointed as me. So you kind of just are in this awkward like, this is so damn hard, but our day will come. Like, as bad as it sounds, I have confidence in myself, I have confidence that we'll find some time. So one way or another I'll enjoy it and we'll put on a show.
Last cars.
Feels like the weekends are in fast forward when you get to this point. So we've already had one race. It was pretty crappy, I'm not gonna lie. So we got a puncture probably 7-8 laps into it. Around here is always notoriously difficult on tyres, but we were pretty unfortunate to get it in the way we did. So you'll probably see like the garage or the awning is absolutely frantic now with all 4 cars going in a slightly different way with setup, because we haven't unlocked what the car needs on this hard tyre. So the day can only get better from having a puncture and finishing P-Noer. So hopefully, yeah, race 2 and 3 will go a little bit more to plan.
As you can see, the car's ready. We've made a couple of little changes. Wasn't quite perfect in race 1, so yeah, the plan is we've shedded some weight. The guys around us have got more ballast. We're kind of entering the unknown with that one.
I still think Ash for the top step is a real possibility, because we saw how well that car went with the full weight. Now it's much, much lighter. Win could be on. A possible problem here, because Aaron Taylor-Smith should be 27th on the grid and he's not yet made it, and that looks like a car in limp home mode, doesn't it? So race 2 of the day is round 17 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship from Thruxton. As the lights go out, it is go, and Ash Sutton is on a mission. This is for 2nd place. Job done, gets the line for Allard, through he goes, starting lap 4. That gives him the race lead.
Yeah, it was always going to be an overlap, wasn't it?
Ash Sutton, checkered flag at the ready. Ash Sutton wins race 2 at Thruxton. Ready for round 18 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. Who will make the best start when the lights go out? We'll find out now, because it's blast off. A good getaway by Morgan. Driver in the background, there's a Honda off at high speed. And possibly through comes Smiley, all of whom will take points off Ash Sutton for the championship. That's good news for England. And it will deliver a win. Adam Morgan comes across the line for a 2nd victory of the season.
Well done to Adam Morgan, everybody. Winner of round 18.
I'm Richard Owen, I'm Aaron Smith's race engineer in the Touring Car Series. Yeah, we've got off to a bad start. We had a tyre delaminate in race 1, great strip of rubber came away from the tyre, possibly as a result of pinching it on a curb here, hard to say. And then now we've just suffered drive shaft failure on the front left side as we came up to the start after the green flag lap. Are things clattering? Says like he's broken the drive shaft. Aaron, I'm going to push you back and then push you back to the awning so we can start work on the car. The drive shafts have a particularly hard time because, especially today, we're running hard tyres. It's a very aggressive, abrasive circuit. But at every circuit, the drivers warm the brakes and the tyres extremely aggressively, which is quite hard on drive shafts. And we've broken one at a very inopportune moment. So it depends where the drive shaft breaks. If they flail, they can wipe off the whole of the suspension on that side, but it doesn't appear to have done any other damage other than the drive shaft itself. So.
Yeah, race 2 was mega. At the start of the day, we sit there, we make our plan, and we fulfilled it again. It was good. We started P5, got a mega first lap, we were into P3, and then it was just a case of picking off Tom Oliphant and Josh Cook, and we reclaimed the win. Which that win is what gives us the leg up every weekend.
Ash Sutton wins round 17 of the 2021 British Touring Car Championship.
a tough old cookie race for it. It's obviously you do the reverse grid. We pulled 8 out of the hole, so we start P8, but you're sat there with 75 kilos on, and everyone behind you is ballast free. So it's a tough task, especially around here. People can get underneath you. They can do things that you can't.
Safety car, safety car.
Safety car, safety car, race until you see the board. Safety car in this lap. All right, good weekend.
It's hard. You accept one, you go, okay, look, racing incident or whatever went on. It's as long as everyone's okay. That's the key thing. You start racking in your second safety car, and especially the third. It's like, hang on, boys, what the f are we doing here? It's an absolute. Well, if I'm honest, it's a bit of a show. We're meant to be setting the standards of British touring cars, but as a whole, over the past day, we've had some real good races. It's just a shame race 3 ended the way it did. It's like I said, that is the key to making our weekend successful. A strong race 1, a mega race 2, and then damage limitation race 3, and we've achieved that. Could have just been a little bit better in race 3.
There he is! The guy that just follows us around at every track. Come on in, I'll show you around. No, I can do it better. This is how I'd normally get in. Now, little keyboard, like I'm doing a bit of studying. I think, to be fair, it helps with like visual points. So like, don't get me wrong, I don't think you could set a car up off the back of it, but I do think you can kind of refresh your memory on certain tracks, especially when you haven't been there for a while. It does help just to have visual references, so you'll know like, oh, certain curb points or certain bumps are where like you'll want to be on the brakes and that type of stuff. So I think in terms of prep, like coming up to a race weekend, I would do quite a bit on it just to like get my eye in, because what I always find like is the first 5 laps in free practice are always the most important, because that's when you're getting up to speed, and if you feel comfortable in the car, it makes a big difference. No, we went straight from the trailer home into Lauren's parents' house while they finished this house. And then once the house was done, then we moved here.
I tell you, you'll never appreciate walls that don't move.
Yeah.
Until you live in
Yeah.
the trailer for 2 years.
Yeah. My values attached to Archie. And Fitz. Where's Fitz? He's almost gotten a bit heavy for this carrying. Oh, I think they're gonna have a little scrap. They love each other. He's like, have you seen this lad? Look at him. Look how much Archie's trying to like antagonize Fitz to get up. What are you doing, bud? Oh, it's our honeymoon. We went to Disney for 2 weeks for our honeymoon. And we're going back there in January, because I feel it's the one place that no matter what age you are, you can pretend to be a child. This is Archie. He's like the main man. He's all that I really care about. Aren't you, bud? You're gonna be front, right and center. The best part of every race weekend is coming home to him, 100%. Like, I have no second thoughts of that. I would say it's the hardest part of racing is leaving him at home, because like I actually miss him so much over the course of a few days. It's so hard. My home life is still centered around racing. Like, yes, people say there's only 10 race weekends over the course of the season, but actually everything around the year is focused on those 10 weekends. The most peaceful time of the race weekends, or my whole season, is when I'm actually in the car. Like, the home life is probably the hardest part, because that's when you're working towards like working with sponsors and working with event activations and everything else that goes around it. So you only really see a snippet of what the season is, where when I'm at home, it's a full-time commitment. And it's nice, like, obviously, I don't really mind the training side of it. In fact, I really enjoy the fitness side of it. So that becomes a lot of what I would do when I'm at home, and training little Archie. So yeah, my home life is still motorsport. You just don't get to see it on ITV4. The prep for race weekends is relentless. Like, I've always been one of those people that is meticulous in what I do. So if I set my mind to something, I want to be the best at it. because motorsport, in my opinion, is a game of variables. The more variables you can reduce, the greater chance of success you have. And that's with car setup, that's with your fitness, that's with your sim work, your track notes. It's all about reducing those bits that you can have control over. So racing is my full-time commitment. And I'm very fortunate in that position. You know, it's probably taken 5 or 6 years to get to the point where I can solely focus on it and we can make a career in it. And I do think it's credit to what the British touring cars are, because I've tried different championships and it's never offered the career opportunities that the British touring cars have. So in that sense, I'm like, this is my dream. So for me, Lauren probably plays the most important role of anyone in my racing bubble. You know, she is the only voice that whenever I see red that I can actually hear. You know, and she not just helps me with the driving, she also is what is a key part of all of our sponsors. So it's a combined effort. And I would be under no false illusions that there is no way I could go racing if it wasn't for Lauren. And yes, the race weekends are hard, but if anything, it brings us closer. So like, we've been together since the age of 17, and I wouldn't want to go racing without her there. So yeah, like I think what success is different for different drivers. You know, take Ash Sutton, take Colin Turkington, take Tom Ingram. So their success is only going to be marked by wins and podiums, where yes, that would have been lovely for us. The goal of what I want to achieve is a long-term career. I want to stay in the touring car paddock for as long as I can, and I want to see a team and car develop, which to me that is what my markers of success will be from the 2021 year. Aaron now would tell championship winning Aaron to not lose faith in what you're doing. Motorsport, like, it's very much an ego battering sport because you're either at the front or you're not. So sometimes, like, you can't help but have questions of self-doubt. You can't help think, you know, is this car good enough? Am I good enough? Is the championship going to fall in our favor over the course of the next few years? And one thing I kind of pride myself is, like, I probably have absolute confidence in my own self, which is a really odd thing to say, and I hope it doesn't come across arrogant or anything like that. But I know in my core that I can deliver when everything is right. And it's just about putting everything in place. So yeah, I think telling championship winning Aaron that these years are going to be worth it is the only message I would say, and don't ever lose sight of that. You watch the moments where the fireworks are going off on the final podium of the year and you see the team celebrating that have won the championship. And I think that's when it settles in that all the hard work is worth it. All the sacrifices, all the sleepless nights worrying about, will the car be quick enough? Will the sponsor sign off? Will that engineer be good enough? Will that mechanic be good enough? Are worth it. The British touring cars is a relentless grind. You know, it's a 24/7, and to win in it, you have to be at the top of your game. You have to sacrifice beyond belief. But that moment, when those fireworks are going off, when you have a moment in the car by yourself, it all becomes worth it.
The QuickFit British Touring Car Championship arrives in North Yorkshire for its annual visit to the tricky circuit here at Croft, where it's great to have the fans back in force. And unusually, there's clear daylight appearing at the top of the championship standings, a 30-point lead for Ash Sutton after a performance at Thruxton 3 weeks ago that really underlined his credentials as a double touring car champion.
Rolling into Croft, 7th meeting. I'm feeling pretty confident. Looking at the championship and the results, we're above expectations, that's for sure. Thruxton was a key part to giving us a leg up, or should we say a race in hand. But to come into Croft now with a 30-point lead is by far above where we expect it to be. Obviously, we know how quick it can change in touring cars. One bad result and they pulls them back in. So as much as I'm not a driver to think about championship and just bag them points, it's maybe where I've got to adjust my mentality. Looking sort of back at what I've done here, obviously Clio's, I've raced this support series, or what used to be a support series of touring cars, was mega for me here. We've had many wins here in terms of in the Subaru, but if you're looking at some of the lows, 2017 qualifying, that dreaded accident that happened with Luke, Aaron and Jeff Smith, and if I'm honest, it was one of those where it was either hit a car or hit a wall, and I chose wall. So like I said, I've had a real mix of results and experiences here, but the majority of them have been on the highs.
Croft as a circuit, it's funny. It's one of the tracks that I actually won my first ever car race around here. I really like this place. It has a great mix of high and low speed, so to me it's a really challenging track. You can't just rely on the car to deliver. You have to really wring its neck around here. I'm really excited. Last time I was here, I had a pretty big old mishap.
It's a huge amount of damage. Aaron Taylor-Smith's car has been hit. Anybody else? Yes, the Audi.
So in some sense, I'm looking forward to getting back out on track and being able to show everyone that I'm good around here, and I always have been. So it'll be nice to kind of get to flex those muscles and put, was it 2017 behind us?
Wow, 7th round, where has the time gone? It's been a lot of fun this year, you know, actually racing with fans and getting to learn this new challenge of mine going rear-wheel drive. Croft is a great circuit, I love Croft. Actually, out of the last 9 races I've actually done here, I've had 4 podiums. And if I don't get a podium this weekend, which will be my 4th year in a row, we can definitely say it's because I can't drive a rear-wheel drive car. Croft circuit's brilliant, okay? It's got a bit of everything. It's got change direction, it's got high speeds, and it's got some real low speed corners which should benefit the traction of a rear-wheel drive car. On my car, I seem to not be able to gain any traction whatsoever. I actually think I can accelerate quicker in a front-wheel drive car. And I think that's down to the fact I'm such a big driver. And I just don't think I can get enough weight in the back to get the traction, which is fundamentally half of my issue, I think.
Green flag shape at the rear of the grid is the prelude to round 20 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. Aidan Moffat launches away from pole position, so does Colin Turkington, who makes a really good start then from row 2.
Turkington, is he going to get this one done again? Oh, there's contact!
But Senna Proctor has got the inside line for the hairpin, so Cook gets run out wide. End of the lap, Hill, Moffat, then Proctor, then Cook, and that is Tom Chilton in strife at the complex, and so also Rory Butcher off the road, and that's a damaged Toyota. Jake Hill will take the first win of the season in race 2, the second of his career. He's second in the championship, he's been banking points, but this is a proper race win. Up to the line, the MB Motorsport Ford Focus in the hands of Jake Hill, wins at Croft.
It's annoying because I honestly think I would have got the podium. I felt faster than everyone, but I felt so much quicker than everyone. Annoying. Yes, I got a great start. I was up into, I don't know, P9 or something like that, by Tower on the first lap, just like halfway around the lap. So I got from 11th to like 8th or 9th or something. I was doing a really good job. And then I got pushed wide by Dan Lloyd, came back across, and then Tom Ingram then pushed me hard and nearly put me in the wall of Barcroft, which is like the fastest, most dangerous corner. Managed to hold on like a race god in my Car Gods 3 Series BMW, pull it back on the track, then lost a couple more. Then just I thought it was all under control. I got hit so hard from behind by Team Hard's Cupra. I don't know if it was Goff or Taylor Smith, I don't know which one. They hit me so hard that it spun me and pushed me so hard into some of the cars in front. Ended Rory Butcher's race as well. I'm pointing the wrong way with the cars coming towards me. I don't know who it is, but they need to seriously come and apologise. It was bang out of order.
Race 2, really good start. I think we jumped 2. Unfortunately, I never like to give out about people when they don't have the opportunity to defend themselves. So we had come together with Carl Bordley. I went and chatted to him just to kind of clear the air, because I hate when people give out without other people having the opportunity to give their opinion. It was one of those incidents that, in my opinion, could have been avoided, but unfortunately it wasn't. But it's water under the bridge now. I don't care at all, and I know, from speaking to Carl, it won't happen again. So that fills me with confidence. Oh yeah, I felt bad because Tom is the funniest guy. So I think in race 2, we came into the final complex and I was right up behind him. So he saw my car behind him, and then into the first hairpin, he got hit so hard that it lifted him off the ground. So he assumed it was me, but it was Carl Bordley who hit me and then hit Tom as well. So I went and chatted to him just to be that wasn't me.
I just went to go do Q&A,
yeah,
and one of the sponsors came up and said, "I stood on the bank, I videoed it, Tom, I videoed it."
Yeah.
And I go, "Look, it's so funny when he had on pause to show me, your car was exactly exactly in line with my car.
Yeah.
Then when you push play, you saw then another white one
Just
on
like,
the inside, and I was
like,
like, I saw that your, light, number,
and you would assume it was me.
But what happened is, I guess, Borderly has gone on the grass and come
And
from
then
nowhere.
just decided.
On the inside fence.
Yeah, because like he lifted your car up. I remember being like, I can see under that
On the
car.
video, I was just showing off my derriere.
A weekend to bite the bullet, I think, is a perfect little summary in one. But race one, I made good progress. Pace was good in the car. We got past the guys on the soft tyre quite quickly in the opening stage of the race. And we kind of then just settled in and accepted that we were going to sort of be around that position. Obviously, we were going to lose a bit of weight and put the correct tyre on for race 2, and that was the plan. But yeah, it didn't quite go to plan in race 2. It's I think a few people left their brains in the pit lane, to put it kindly, but the car come back looking second hand. We got pushed about a little bit. A few of us did, to be fair, it wasn't just me. So we didn't really get a prime opportunity in terms of maximising that soft tyre and that less weight. And 1 minute we're P9, 1 minute we're P4. It was just such a yo-yo race. It was hard to take because in my head I was fixed on a podium and fight for a win, but unfortunately the dice weren't rolled my way. I think these back-to-back weekends are great. It keeps the driver's mindset fully alive in terms of racing. You don't switch off when you go away. I'm buzzing to roll it straight into Silverstone in sort of 4 days' time. But it's tough on the teams. The teams have got a big ask now. They've obviously got 3 cars to turn around. Normally I allow a week for the cars. We're doing it in 3 days. It's a big ask, but credit to them for this next week that they've got planned. And yeah, we're going to be coming up to Silverstone and hopefully pushing hard.
Here at Silverstone, the home of British Motor Racing's national circuit, always delivers plenty of action here at the home of the British Racing Drivers Club, many a member of which is to be found on this grid as well.
Silverstone has always been a pretty happy hunting ground for me, to be honest. There's very few corners, which less opportunity for mistake, but it's one of those tracks where all the corners are geared towards a certain driving style, and it seems to play into my favour. So I'm looking forward to it. It's nice to go into a weekend full of optimism. Everyone prepares in their own little manners. It's an odd thing to say, like so I have like a simulator at home that I'll do a lot of prep work before I go to a track. And a lot of work that I do is based around, say, onboard footage. So you'll sometimes see me with what I would call my nerd folder that I bring to every track. That has all my notes on the circuit, what curbs to use, what curbs not to use, previous lap times, and kind of reference points. The one thing about myself is I will never be out-prepared. So whatever it takes, I will do.
Silverstone is a great circuit for me. I've had lots of wins here before and lots of podiums, and a lot of my trophies in my cabinet are from Silverstone. It is the home of British motorsport, and I just am so happy I'm now up to speed with the car coming here this weekend, because I think I just need to get some silverware this year, and no better place to do it than right here at Silverstone. Do you know what? The Grand Prix circuit is incredible because it's like this massive layout, lots of different types of corners, and you've still got all these different types of corners in the layout we race in the national circuit, but it's just a lot smaller.
Quite wide, obviously it's got to be up to the F1 standards, so it's a lot different, for example, to somewhere like Alton Park, Croft. They're very narrow in comparison, but it's a very fast flowing track, but then with 2 massive braking zones, down into turn 3 and down into turn 4. They're quite tricky in terms of braking, and you have to be on the ball for that one. My dad is sort of more on the mechanical side of things and how the actual race is planning out in terms of strategy and stuff like that. So I think me and my dad are quite alike-minded in that respect, but yeah, obviously when it's getting heated out there and it's door to door, then for sure I know the girls are on the panic stations. I wouldn't want to be working with anyone else, especially engineers and number ones. Obviously my engineer knows exactly what I want in terms of balance from the car. My number one I trust my life with. At the end of the day I'm strapping myself in that race car and he's the one working on it. So all of the guys that we've got on the car, I'm confident wherever I went we'd go as a package. And I wouldn't move anywhere else unless that was the case. Yeah, Q1 was we were pleased with. It was car was good. We didn't really change too much, if anything, from FP2. So rolled the car in, knew exactly where we were, and yeah, just knuckled in some good times, and we were sat sort of P4, P5 with a little bit on the table still. So I was pleased with that. We went into Q2. Unfortunately, when you bolt on a brand new set of tyres that and it's got a balance shift on it, it's out of everyone's control. It's out of even Goodyear. We can't sit here and point fingers. It's just every tyre or set, shall we say, can sometimes throw the balance one way, and unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to didn't have enough time in the session to overcome the issue. We just keep having to do laps and hope that we can overcome it during that.
I wouldn't be surprised if you have 30 cars within 3/4 of a second. Like, not even a second. I think it might be 7/10. You're going to have 30 cars. So when you think, oh, it's all right, I was only 3/100ths of a second off, that could be 8 places back. But this circuit's got a lot of history for me, a lot of fun times, a lot of wins, a lot of fantastic overtaking manoeuvres, which I can take to my grave with me, which I've really enjoyed over the years, and I'm really happy to be here.
Qualifying day, which I have quickly learned is the worst point of the entire weekend. We probably chased our tails a little bit in FP2 because we only discovered afterwards that the diff, which I would say is probably the most important component in terms of braking and traction and everything like that, had just lost its mind and exploded. But unfortunately, it was a very late discovery which limited what could be changed going into quali. Do you know, if they kept a spare of every part that I think they should have, we should have 5 Arctics full of stuff. So it doesn't really faze me. Around here, it's going to be nose to tail for however many laps these races are. I think we'll pick off places and go like a bat out of hell tomorrow because I have nothing to lose.
Second half of the season for Matthias, really strong performances, so his big championship.
The track is wide, it's a bit of a pinch point, cars do come together. I'm sure there's going to be some good racing.
Now the cars are making their way round to the grid in readiness of our first 22-lap race. We are about to go racing. Round 22 from Silverstone. It's the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. It's Rory Butcher on pole. It's go. He gets away nicely. There's the wet patch. He's clear of it, but how many places has that cost him? Box ticked, place taken. Sutton goes 7th. Rory Butcher is going to have a second victory of the season. The Toyota Gazoo Racing UK Corolla wins at Silverstone. Rory Butcher wins. Round 23 of the championship is good to go. Lights go out. It is blast off. He lunged the inside line, he thinks, he commits, he gets up the inside, he's off the road, goes straight on, locks up, goes wide. Race 2, checkered flag, Rory Butcher wins, great try. Lights go out now, it is blast off, and a good start made from 4th on the grid by Stephen Jelly. Gordon Shedden stalls on the grid, he's away late. That is one of the car gods BMWs, it's Tom Chilton, whose difficult day gets no better, and that was coming out of Cops Corner.
This should give Jake Hill the race lead. Again, the mirror's almost touched there as they head into the right-hander, but Hill does it. He goes through on the inside line, side by side into Cops, but it's the Infinity ahead as they come out of the corner. He's in exactly the right place for Beckett. He's on the inside line, and Sutton goes third. Brave stuff. Rounds it out in style. Jake Hill wins. Race 3 in Silverstone. Second goes to Dan Lloyd. Ash Sutton finishes third.
Yeah, weekend of two halves. We rolled down on a setup that probably wasn't optimized. So we chased our tails a little bit in FP2, and then in quali we had that mechanical failure of the diff, so that really hurt us. And in my opinion, the diff alone probably cost us to get into that top 10 shootout. You know, it's hard to get to the front. Race 1, decent, we moved forward 7. Race 2, we got stuck in. Race 3, we were doing pretty well. Like, I think we were 9 to 10-ish, and then we had some, you know, not in a bad sense, like Turkington leant on us and hit us once or twice, which put me wide, lost 3 or 4 places, and then you're kind of, it's always hard when you're battling against teammates, because it's, you have to give each other space, but at the same time you want to work together. So that was a good race, and it was a good old weekend, to be fair. Yeah, looking forward to Donington. It's always gone well there. So I'm looking forward to going back to a happy hunting ground. And I think we've cracked a little bit on engine, we've cracked a little bit on chassis. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a weekend of no excuses.
You want to start the weekend now?
The car has had pace in it all weekend. It was just great to be able to unlock that and unleash it and show what we can do. Just missed out on the fastest lap. Obviously we had to change the car quite a little bit to work in traffic. So when I was on my own, I couldn't quite get that lap together, but yeah, charging through it was nice. The inner ash come out and I could do what I love doing. Obviously we've come into this weekend and we've extended it by 7. So just knuckle down and keep doing the job that we're doing in terms of collecting them points, solid results, and roll that into Donington and Brands.
I left that open. Oh, I don't know. No. I feel like I ruined the intro when I asked you if I should leave the door open. Would you like me to do this again?
Oh, fancy seeing you here. How are we doing?
Listen, I'm great. I'm great.
But I'll sit piggy in the middle.
Yeah, damn right.
Your phone on silent. Have you dropped your mic?
Hey, right boys. Fancy seeing you here.
What a day.
At least there wasn't a lion in here.
Bit on edge at the minute though now.
Like this whole like walking in one at a time, I thought something bad was going to happen coming in. This is the most scripted version of this I've ever done.
It's as Ash looks and he's zipping up his top going, I'm nervous. I'm nervous this is going in. We don't know what's in here.
I feel we should let Ash.
I thought we should let Ash go first, yeah. We'll do it in championship order, shall we?
I don't know where I am apart from this, so I'll come back in about 2 days, will I?
Yeah, so obviously the season this so far has gone really well for us, probably the best to date. This time round it's a different ball game and it's a new experience for me. So we've had a solid year throughout, cars improved from last year, we kind of hit the ground running with it, pace has been mega. Everything seems to be clicking, so we've had a little bit of bad luck at Alton Park, but overcome that. So far for me it's pretty good.
Do you prefer driving this car to the Subaru?
I've got to say I do, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I'll do.
It does look good. And like it's funny, right? From watching from afar, because obviously I sat out last year and watched everything. I thought like this year's approach from yourself has been like unbelievable. Like I feel like from the get-go, like and like I don't mind saying it because like at the same time you're doing a really good job. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, you could have done better. Like yeah, you said that Alton Park was a low point, but at the same time it's still been an unbelievable year.
Oh yeah, you can't doubt that.
It's been very like, and I would like.
This is Aaron flirting.
Yeah, it's very impressive. It's really annoying. It is very impressive, and I feel like sometimes, like when you're on the grid, I never like to pay compliments to other people, but I actually think you've been very good.
No, I appreciate it.
Like I'm kind of jealous.
Overcome my hurdle, shall we say?
No, it's good. It's been great all year.
What about you?
Like it's been harder than I thought it would, to be perfectly honest. Like I thought it would be a little easier at certain points. Where Team Hard have been in the past and where they are now are polar opposites.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
I actually think Team Hard have done really well.
I do.
I genuinely think they've massively raised
they've
their
leveled
game.
up. And like, don't get me wrong, there is still potential to go further, but at the same time, I can't fault anything. Even with the shortcomings that we've had at certain points, if I've said, look, I think we need to do X, Y, and Z differently, it gets done. We've probably spent the first few rounds me trying to like get back into a touring car.
Well, GT racing for a bit, and
Exactly.
then coming in, it's a different ball game.
And the last year we did it was in that MG, which was a dying dog that did try to kill me. So
let's not touch on that one.
It wasn't the most enjoyable year I've ever had. So it was weird to come back in, and I've come back in with a completely different approach, and it probably tips back to even being able to say how good you've done. In previous years, I never would have said that, because I would have always assumed that I have to be the best. But actually, there's a place for everyone.
We're filling up the field to make Ash look good.
It is. It's good.
God's sake.
It's fine. I get paid off the back of it. No, it's been a great.
I'll pay you later for that one.
What about you, Tom? How have you found it?
Well, it's no big secret. I've been struggling a little bit this year.
It's a switch, isn't it?
It's a big switch, and I actually have more respect now for you driving rear-wheel drive, because it's definitely not as easy when you're racing, I don't think.
No, agree.
It's taken me longer. I got in my head, it might take me 1 or maybe 2 rounds to get up to speed. But if I'm honest, it's only been the last 2 rounds I've actually got up to speed by the end of the weekend.
Yeah.
You know, I think I was second quickest in the race at Silverstone. I was the quickest out of everyone, I think, at Croft. But it took me to the end of the weekend to be fast. Yeah. And out the box, as much as I feel like I'm driving really well, I clearly am obviously having to learn how to drive a rear-wheel drive car again. And you know, you've just gone from GTs back to here. Is this championship now is ridiculous? Like, I've been doing this since the beginning, it feels like. I've been here for like 20 years. But like now you've got a whole grid within like 8/10 of a second. Awesome. Like 28 cars within 8/10. And if you're 2/10 off, you literally think it's the end of the world because it's that close.
So far this year's been absolutely mega.
It's been more competitive this season than any other.
Naturally, I want to beat all of these boys and girls. I want to beat every single one. I want to be the one right at the top of the standings at the end of the year.
The margins are definitely finer than previous seasons.
But naturally, you're always looking at the person who's directly ahead of you. So at the minute, that's Ash.
The gaggle of guys battling in second, it's tough. Obviously, Colin, fellow rear-wheel drive man. But when you've got someone like Tingram, new car, new combination, you never quite know how he's going to turn up and perform.
You know, Ash is the one that everybody's hunting down.
I think there's a lot to play for still. To take the title this year would be a dream come true.
Obviously, it's British Touring Cars. We don't know how the rest of the season's going to go.
I've loved this year. It's been huge amounts of fun. Hopefully, we can top that off with a few more great results.
It's the highest of highs, and it's a great moment. So that's what we're all chasing again this time.
Back here at Donington, we are ready for race 1 of the 3 in the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship, round 25 of the series. We've got 3 races here and then just the final 3 at Brands Hatch to determine who is going to be this year's champion. And now the drivers look towards the lights. We're ready to go racing them. Race 1 of 3 at Donington, round 25 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship is go. A good start is made by Shedden. Who else gets off the line swiftly? Dan Lloyd covers off Plato. Rory Butcher comes up to the outside. Rowbottom didn't make a demon getaway, but he's trying to get up the inside of Turkington. As Tom Ingram tries to find a way past Jake Hill. Look, coming up towards Coppice. Bash Sutton as he comes across the line. Well, progress is not the word. He's only 10th. He's lost a spot, therefore. That was Ollie Jackson, wasn't it? Trying to dive up the inside of the Adam Morgan BMW, and now Jake Hill gets involved, and Morgan is off the road, and that's going to get into the tyres big time, and it'll bring out a safety car for sure. Hill into the gravel.
Oh, bloody hell.
Oh.
And safety car, Adam off on the way down Craners.
So let's have a look at how it all started. There's the Ford. It was Ollie Jackson up the inside. Then he ran wide. Morgan got up alongside him. Jake Hill tried to get alongside as well, and they just touched. Not a good result for Morgan. Gordon Shedden turns right, turns left. Checkered flag is at the ready for Halfords Racing with Cataclean Flash. Gordon is back. Gordon Shedden wins at Donington. Checkered flag is waved. Gordon Shedden the winner. Dan Lloyd second. Rory Butcher third, but only just ahead of Proctor, Turkington, Plato, Sutton to round out the top 7. Adam Morgan, as we know, not only out of the race, but now giving the Sicily Motorsport squad a big repair job.
Frustrating race. I really hoped he'd follow Hill through, but nada. To put it politely, I've had better days. I mean, made a good start, got off in the race, and unfortunately 3 into 1 doesn't go. It's been deemed a racing incident, which, to be honest, looking back at the footage, I think is fair. Quite a hefty impact. Just one of those. Just unfortunately, that's touring car racing. The lads here, you know, have been mega. Willie Poole, who actually builds the car, he's here. He's a man on a mission, trying to get the car as straight as possible and get it looking more like a 3 Series again. So we're hoping to be out for the 3rd race, start at the back of the grid, and use it a bit more of a test session. 2-3 rounds ago, you know, we were in 5th in the championship, and we just had a run of bad luck and misfortune, and that's put us down in 13th, something like that now. So it's move on to Brands and finish the season as well as we can, and hopefully come away from there with some good points and maybe even a podium.
I think mine's the best. Like, I lived in a mobile home outside BMR for like 2 years.
That's
a pretty big.
That's a big.
And yeah, exactly. So that, like, and I think people look at motorsport as being super glamorous, but actually when you're like living in a mobile home and it's so cold that olive oil freezes in the fridge or freezes on the counter,
that's
the pipes don't work. It was like, this is prison. Like, what am I doing here? Like,
prison's nice. It's warm.
Heated. Like, I get meals served to me. So no, that was
warm olive oil in prison.
Yeah, I felt like that was. But at the time, I didn't. Now, like at the time, I was like, this is normal. This is what I want to do. This is what I've spent my whole teenage life building towards and hoping to get to. So the sacrifice didn't feel like it. But now, when I think of it, that was like brutal. like, what was I doing? But everyone has to do stuff like that.
Our story's just not as good as that, is it? I mean, should we just end with Aaron? I mean,
yeah, I know, but I had to get in there. I had to be like, watch this.
I broke my arm 4 times.
Back end of 2014, the new F4 car was coming in for 15. Deal was done. I was meant to be racing that in 2015, but then when you know you've got a deal done, sponsors are all behind it, and then someone else dangles a carrot, and you're like, well, I've got to give everything up to go and do potentially what could be great. Turned out it has, but you just don't know. So completely giving up a drive that's locked in for 2 years to go and do something else was a sacrifice, but one that paid off.
It's a hard one for me, this one. This has been my hardest year in motorsport, and I've been doing this a long time. And it's purely because of the fact I'm not in the top 10 every race. It's not a sacrifice though, but maybe it is. It's a sacrifice of getting results and
giving up what you know.
Giving up what I know. It's a sacrifice because I wanted to have a dabble at rear-wheel drive because I've always wondered what I would be like in it. I've always wondered what ifs, buts, and it's nice that I've ticked the box. But I know that I'd have to do this probably another 3 years to get like really good at it. And I'm just getting to that age where I don't want to waste another 3 years. So I don't know if I want to sacrifice my love of racing and picking up trophies. So I want to go back to front-wheel drive next year.
Tom looking intelligent.
Oh, I didn't know you were filming me. Lots of squiggles. Yeah, I felt like a good start.
Yeah.
That's 10th quicker than Silverstone, isn't it? 5
Yeah. You did a 4.7 FP2.
Yeah, that was an accidental
fucking,
wheel spin off the line. I've
Yeah.
never had wheel spin in this car because it usually bogs with the stupidly long first and the reduced boost. It usually just somehow wheel spinned.
Yeah,
That's risk and reward. I wouldn't do that every
launch,
time because if it didn't and
then it
installed,
gets
it's too risky. For me,
You could
that
see the
was
G
a
was-
freak thing which happened in FP2. I wouldn't do that again.
Your clutch control is very good. I mean, that is the...
People can't use my clutch because they go, it's got no feel, but for me that's got way more feel than the one that you all run.
that everybody runs.
I said at the beginning of the year, I said, I know everyone else
I know.
it, but I can't use it.
I fought you tooth and nail on that one.
You did, yeah. I went back to my one, I haven't burnt the clutch out and I do consistent
Yeah,
starts. It's
yeah.
just because I've done it for 16 years, I know the feeling. And the
No,
clutch, how it hits up.
you're right, I'll concede defeat on that one.
It's on camera, mate. It's on camera.
Yeah. Not on all the other things, though.
You're just amazing at starts, Tom, that's it.
Right, so in those initial laps to get that time, how was the car balance?
still a little bit on the oversteer
All right.
side.
So if we've got to do a roll. I didn't do anything from qualifying. We literally left it exactly as it was because I was actually going to go up.
Yeah.
Because we discussed at Silverstone, and I thought I don't want to do it here because we haven't had in any session had to go up. Yeah. At Silverstone we went up on Radite and it worked. Yeah. Here it didn't at all. So it's one of them. If you weren't in the championship.
Cook turn 1, yeah, maybe. That wasn't like one of those. I was like, I want to go left. To
but he came out.
And he came across as well. So I think I actually then got him through turn 4 as well because he looked like he had an issue. I think then I realised he was.
Did you not see him braking around here?
Yeah.
The whole way around here, he was just hovering on the brake, and then almost like he let you pass. I meant to say to you, he's on 2 strikes.
Crazy.
So I think he has to be a little bit careful because otherwise he's back in the grid.
He's got to be careful there because Robot could fire one.
Yeah. That was a valuable piece of information I meant to give you before the race, but never mind.
Yep.
I'd rather you were overcautious with him than undercautious.
Right, should we,
yeah, let's go.
Gordon Shedden is on pole, Dan Lloyd with him at the front. Colin Turkington 1 to watch 5th, Jason Plato starting 6th. Nash Sutton is 7th, Josh Cook lines up alongside him ahead of Chris Smiley. Tom Ingram is 1 to watch, lighter car this time, he's 11th. Engine notes rise, the lights go out, we go racing, and the best start of all comes from Gordon Shedden, who gets the drop. Dan Lloyd is about to be mugged by Rory Butcher on the inside line, heading down towards Redgate for the first time. Butcher goes 2nd, Lloyd changes sides. Here comes Turkington up the inside look of Santa Proctor. Rory Butcher it is that leads then. 2nd is Shedden, Lloyd 3rd. 4th is Santa Proctor, and side by side for 5th. Sutton's going ahead of Turkington. He's got the inside line for Schwanzkirk, the outside line for McLean's. Turkington has got to make this work, and look, Ingram out of nowhere gets up the inside of Sutton, so Ingram is on an absolute mission on the opening lap. Turn 2 on lap 2, and he's up the inside of Turkington, and he's gone by. He might even be on for a win here. So down towards Redgate, is it going to be a big dive? Of course it is, and Tom Ingram goes through on the inside line.
He can't allow Turkington to get too many points back on him.
Gets the slingshot up the inside. No weight versus 75 kilos. It was all inevitable, but what a drive up from 11th on the grid, and Tom Ingram leads.
Turkington spun, I can't believe it.
And he's just out of everybody's way, but Sutton gets ahead of him, and Colin Turkington makes a rare mistake, and that throws him way, way down the order to 11th place.
Did he do that himself, or did he get pushed?
Looked like it, just dropped the wheel on the exit.
A 4th win of the season for Tom Ingram for the Hyundai, which was, of course, new to winning races at Snetterton earlier on in the year. But Tom Ingram wins. Over the line he goes. Tom Ingram wins round 26 of the championship from Gordon Shedden and Rory Butcher. Ash Sutton is 4th.
Mega drive, mate. I have no idea if you can hear me.
These buttons ain't working. Definitely a problem with the radio, isn't it?
Do you know what? I feel naked not being able to talk to him. It's so weird. It's uncomfortable. Thank you, mate. Well done. Good job. Reverse pole. Good job, mate.
Burn as well.
Good job.
20 seconds.
Oh, it's got to be in the car. Because I could hear him clearly at the start.
Yeah, we could all hear what you were saying on the radio. He was saying he couldn't hear a thing, didn't he? You know?
Most of the radios come on.
It's run out of battery. Every lap I was giving you an update, but not a thing. Did you hear anything on that in lap? Because there was a point when I saw a button. So if you keyed up and spoke, could you hear me? I could hear you. You were in P10 at one point. It was all clean on the way through though.
Yeah, clean coming back, yeah. They were just throwing a car at me.
Yeah.
Left over at me.
And the pace that Ingram went at.
I know.
But there was a point where he was just driving into people like, I'm coming through whether you like it or not.
What, English?
Has to, yeah.
And what a race it was from P11 on the grid. The win goes the way of Tom Ingram.
Hey, my name's Tom Ingram. I drive for Ginster's Accelerate with Trade Price cars. So today we've been at Donington. It's been, from a weather perspective, beautiful. Very un-October-like. It's been good. We had a race 2 win, which is great. What you got taken off us. Losing a race win's never nice. It's never an easy thing to. It's never an easy thing to take. But do I agree with the decision? No, not really. Gordon jumped on the brakes nice and early. I ran into the back of him. He's lifted out of the power. I've gone past him, and it's gone from there. Should I have let him back pass? Looking back at it, probably yes, but from my perspective, it was never a push to pass. It was never a run into the back, running wide. He never missed his apex. He never missed, never ran wide, never did anything like that. I got the run, he was 75 kilos, I was nothing. Better tyres, worse tyres. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. We'll go into the last race weekend with heads high and still just as ambitious as ever. Yeah, I mean, we're third in the championship going into the final weekend at Brands Hatch. We've got Colin, who's just pipped us ahead this weekend, and then of course Ash leading the way. So, you know, we'll go to Brands with the same ambition as we have had every weekend. You know, try and score as many points as we can, focus on ourselves, and if the job's done, the job's done. But you know, there's a lot of hard work that needs to go on. There's probably quite a lot of luck that needs to fall our way if anything does come. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Brands. It's one of my favourite circuits we go to. I'm hoping our car should work quite well around there. We are going to go in with a decent chunk of ballast again. We'll keep our heads down and do the best job we can.
Alexa, stop. This is a standard Monday. 16 parcels left, or orders left. Ay, crazy. Other than just being a racing driver, I wanted to have something in the background, something that keeps me busy on that Monday to Friday. A way to earn a pound note, I guess, is the way to look at it. The whole simulator industry kind of exploded during lockdown. People were sat at home. Obviously, racing drivers didn't have much to do, so this kind of industry kind of put its pin on the map, and a lot of people really kind of got their teeth into it, and unfortunately I've put up with this one, which is Matt. Matt is someone that I've kind of known and sort of got to know through the whole of sim racing itself. We kind of met, when was it?
Several years ago.
Me and Matt met actually online through sim racing. Obviously relationships grow, you get to know people, and now he's here, standing here, putting up with me, building some rigs. So it's good. It's not too bad, is it?
No, he's all right. He's relaxed away from the racing. A lot more,
not that stressful. It's a hobby that essentially doesn't feel like work. I like being able to help customers out. They pick the phone up and go, okay, what do I need for this? I can advise them in the right way. There's two sides to the business. We've got the actual business side of it. We've got the esports team, and just combined the two. If I'm not on the sim racing or in the actual car itself, I'm actually involved in some form of sim racing, shall we say. That's a good question. What is the point of motorsport? See, everyone starts off as a hobby, and a bit of an enjoyment, but the point for me is it's that pushing your boundaries, pushing your own limits. Obviously, I love getting in a car. I love getting in any race car. I want to make history in British touring cars, and in 20 years' time, I want my name to be on plaques and things like that. That's my goal. That is my goal.
Hey bud, you alright?
Good. Well?
Good mate. We
We're
made
here.
it.
We've done it.
We've done it. We're in the
And
top
that-
10, eh?
Yeah. And today has been fantastic.
It has.
Absolutely brilliant. You've been up there all day.
Finally. Finally, we've got only to be 9 rounds to get there.
We were fully aware, if we're being honest with each other, that we moved to the rear-wheel drive car this year in anticipation for the hybrid next year. We were obviously fully aware all the time that the team needed to learn the car, then we had 2 drivers that needed to learn the car, and then everything had to come together. And it has come together throughout the years. It's not been a disastrous year by any.
I mean, it's hard for me not being in the top 10 for all the years I've been in the top 10, but I always saw the BMW being very good with the hybrid, because it would carry the weight well, gets more traction with the extra torque. I always saw that as an advantage, and so you're absolutely right. Like next year, you've got all the information from this year to move forwards next year. No, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm very sad to see you leave the team, mate, because you got me in the car, and so did Adam, and you tried very hard making the team and getting all sponsorship together, and this all wouldn't have happened without you. You're a massive part of the team, mate, so thank you.
I appreciate that, but we've had, this is a team, it's a family-run team, and it's been brilliant, There's absolutely no reason why you can't get to reverse grid this weekend, absolutely not. Well,
and if I get that reverse grid, mate,
drives,
you've never seen defence like it. I will be like the best defender you've ever seen in your life.
Why? You'll be gone. Yeah, there'll be no defending. See you later, lads. You'll be having a laugh say when they finish.
I see that James Bond button where I can throw pins out the back, oil, and if it all goes wrong and I come off on my own thing the next lap, I got an ejector seat and a parachute.
And you're out of here.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Right, boys, I would probably start getting ready now. Yeah. Come around.
Oh dear me.
Alright.
It'll be alright once the engine's on. You almost want to skip the 15 minutes on the grid though, don't you? Leave the pit lane, go.
Let's roll. So it's Sunday, it's finals day, and we're here at Brands GP. Obviously nerves are always going to kick in, so it's normally, look, we've got sort of 25 minutes now before the first race, so once we get this out of the way, then I'll go and chill out and focus on what we've got to do moving forward. But at the end of the day, we're trying to treat it like any other normal day.
We're here at the final round of the season. We're in contention to win the championship. It needs a little bit of lady luck on our side. I don't feel that much pressure. I don't feel many nerves. I think primarily because it's not really mine to win, it's kind of Ash's to lose.
I think I've got to just focus on Tom and Colin. They're the 2 closest to me in terms of championship and on the grid. There's 66 points up to grabs today, with 32 ahead. So the odds are with us, but obviously it's one race and that can all change.
So yeah, it's finale, final round of the championship. It's a big day, but we're looking forward to it.
Our first race of the day is set to get underway. 15 laps for round 28 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship.
It's just the same as every other race weekend. This is no different to anything else that we do.
And of course, the championship leader is Ash Sutton, aboard number 1, the reigning champion.
And if dropping back to avoid an accident is what he has to do, he has to accept that.
So then the grid forming up. It is round 28 of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championship. The lights go red. Race 1 of the day is go. 1 or 2 crept a little bit, it looked like, but a good getaway is made by Senna Proctor. Good start also by Rowbottom, who slots in behind the BTC duo. Bold effort is being made by Colin Turkington then to try to get through the traffic, and so is Ash Sutton. Look, he's on his toes right away.
And this is on board with Turkington looking at Sutton straight in front.
That is Colin behind you. Jelly is behind Aidan.
Now Turkington can't afford to just sit there today, can he?
Aidan is directly behind Colin if you need to back him into him. Yeah, copy about the dash.
Lost his back.
I think missing the beacon, yeah.
Yeah, I missed that.
Aidan's beacon is the same. 4 to go.
We are on to lap 14 of the 17.
Look, there's the gap. Nothing in front of him, nothing behind. Very nice position for Sutton to be in.
Race 1 of the day in Brands Hatch is won by Josh Cook in a 1-2 for BTC Racing. Senna Proctor second. Ash Sutton comes across the line 6th, and he's ahead of Turkington and Hill and Ingram. That's great news in the championship. And here comes Ingram, one last chance to get past Hill. step taken closer to a third British Touring Car Championship.
Really good job, mate. You and Colin now.
What does all that mean now?
We're now 33 ahead of Colin.
We're 40 available.
44 available.
44.
With all the fastest laps and everything like that. He would have to outscore us by 8 points. We just have to be 22 points ahead going into the last one. 23 to equal it on wins. Good. All went to plan. Same as every other race weekend. That's all we need. Good race 1. Good race 2. But we've just got to be really sensible and stay out of trouble. But we've still got our wingman with us, which is good. Very useful in that one. Good job, mate. Mate, good job.
If I could roll the clock back sort of 10 years ago, so back to 2011, I soon got my licence to drive on the road, and unfortunately I was just a young teenager that thought he knew how he could drive. Bear in mind I've won a couple of trophies on track. You can't treat him the same, and I paid the price for that. I had a road car accident, injured myself very, very badly, and told that I could potentially never sit in a race car again. That was not a nice moment. That was not a nice moment. There was a couple of points, I'll be honest, I welled up. It was not nice to experience, and it sort of almost brings a lump back in your throat with it, looking back to that now. Your whole family have given up so much to get to that point. Things potentially are going down the right route, but I could have just thrown that away with one stupid mistake. And I don't know, there's an element of me that would just keep telling myself never to give up, because of what I've achieved up to this point just really proves that anything is possible.
Two boxes ticked. This is a big box as
It'd
well.
be nice to tick it in this one, and then we can go and have fun in race 3.
Yeah.
We can see real Ash again.
Know that.
Independent drivers is very close.
Job,
with Ingram, and then teams we could wrap up this time. And I think if we kept where we are, we wrap it up.
He's 33 points ahead at the moment. If he finishes this race 23 points ahead, he'll become champion.
Lights will go red, engine notes rise when the lights go out, it'll be blast off now, and who makes the best start? It's Sutton. Turkington tries to get up the inside, Sutton gets boxed in behind Dan Lloyd, and here comes Turkington up the inside line. The BMW is there as Shedden attacks the BTC Hondas, and yes, there's contact there, look, because Sutton gets a tap in the tail. Turkington's got ahead of him. That, I fear, might have been Chilton getting into the rear of Sutton.
And Tom Chilton just getting into the rear quarter, and then round goes in front of everybody. That's Ollie Jackson. Oh!
Adam Morgan hits him.
Safety car, mate.
Safety car in this lap, safety car in this lap. 13 laps to go.
Now, right now, Ash Sutton would be 32 points ahead. That would be enough to give him the championship. He can just sit there and drive round now.
So he can gain, Colin can gain 2 places and we can lose 2, we're still alright. Laps to go, gap to Butch behind keeps on growing, so we're not worried. Colin would have to win this race. Final lap, nice and steady please.
He's consistent and he's on his way then now up towards the checkered flag. It is going to be a race win for Josh Cook. A 5th win of the season for Josh Cook, round 29 of the championship, but in the traffic behind, back-to-back titles, a 3rd crown for Ash Sutton. He is British Touring Car Champion with a race to spare, and he is absolutely delighted as he comes.
It's so hard driving like we do, but to bag all these points and get us to this position, this is what the emotions you see right now is what we've been chasing all year. Come on. Yes!
Out of the car gets the 2021 British Touring Car Champion. Ash Sutton has done it again. Back-to-back titles. It's 3 for one of the real stars of the modern era of the British Touring Car Championship. Tony Carosa, his engineer, is as much a part of that success as the man behind the wheel.
Plan went to plan. Everything this weekend, as we said, we go in as we have every other weekend. The only difference now is we can unleash him for race 3 and see what the real Ash Sutton can do. So we've actually signed all of the championships off today already. So we've signed off Overall Drivers' Championship, Independent Drivers' Championship, Independent Teams Championship, and the Overall Teams Championship, which is actually a massive one because there's, you're fighting against the likes of West Surrey. Why is it important? It's all we do. We live and breathe racing. That's all we do. We live and breathe racing every day, and all we want to do is win. Every single one of us, every single person we employ is a winner. And we go here not just because it's a job, not just because we get paid to do it. We do it because we want to win. So that's the motivation and the drive every single day.
We'll go to the pub.
You don't look quite stressed. I think you need to go to the pub if you look at this car.
Yeah, I know. There's more being brought over.
Tony, I think every driver's got a relationship with their engineers. He knows what pushes my buttons. He knows when to control me, when to pull me back, when to sort of say, now let's go, let's have it, let's wind her up. Everyone's appreciated. Anyone that works on that car. So my number 1, number 2, and number 3. Data engineer. They give up a massive amount of their lives in terms of their familyhood to come away and do the job we all love, and we're all racers at the end of the day and we want to win. I would love to become a legacy. If you look at it now, the British Touring Cars has been known for your Matt Neal, your Jason Platos. Why can't it be my name that's there in 20 years' time? And that's the aim.
Your appreciation, please, Brands Hatch, for your champion, Ash Sutton. And a 3rd title in the hands of Ash.
Podium. We're going for a photo, whether we're invited or not.
3, 2, 1.
Sorry. You two, Josh. Good job of winning there. Well done. John's got another one.
Well done, hard.
Good job, mate. Really good job.
Well run, son.
Down it. Down it.
Good job, boys.
It was a bit of a disappointing end to the year because we have had a lot of progression as the year has gone on, but today the progression didn't quite shine through. But it's a learning, and this year was all about learning. It didn't really faze me if this was a scorcher of a weekend or not, because all the focus is on is 2022. Making this package better, improving the team, improving everything around us. We know enough now to be able to go into this winter, focus on a few little areas of marginal gains with the chassis, aero kit, engine performance, and then come back fighting fit in 2022.
The initial emotions that come out, I spent the whole in-lap crying. I didn't have any left for the ITV interview. It was just a lot of pressure has been on me mentally and physically. I feel like I've had to adapt to the championship and make myself a championship driver, and to be able to just let them emotions flood out based on that fact, it was just so good. And to share it with all the people that are behind me, it just tops it off. Tony's an angel, but he's a piece of the puzzle. There's many guys behind it. I've got a great team behind me. There's great sponsors there, even down to the mechanics, the guys that put the tyres on the car, the guys that put the fuel in the car. Without any of them, it wouldn't be possible. So this isn't just me. I'm a very, very small percentage of this team, and it just shows how strong of a team we are. I'll be honest with you, the biggest thing this year has been the fans. You guys at home have really made this atmosphere change. From last year to this year, it's completely different, and I'm absolutely buzzing. I'll have a drink down the pub tonight on all of you. Cheers, guys.
I feel so fancy doing
boy, good boy.
The script has been torn up again. Turkington is wide, he's in the gravel, and Sutton's going to go through for the lead.
This is hard work. This is stress.
Him and they're 3 wide across the start-finish line.
Not a good result for Morgan. Back-to-back titles, a third crown for Ash Sutton. He is British Touring Car Champion.